everyone, Old School Pokemon here, back again with the PokeFlipz podcast, joined by my usual co-host, KetchumAllCollectibles, Dan. And today we've got a special guest joining us. So we got the Pokeplumber, aka Nick. So we got two Nicks today. How are you both doing today?
Doing very well. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. I'm honored to be here, and I'm excited to talk some Pokemon.
We're very excited to have you. And actually, Pokeplumber's name is Nick, so we do have two Nicks today. I'll try to stick with Old School and Plumber, Pokeplumber. But many people probably know who you are. You recently just started a new podcast with your co-host, NostalgiaNomics, Alex. You started that last Friday. Conveniently, I don't know if it was intentionally or unintentionally, but you guys have a fortnightly podcast every other week. And it nestles in like right on our off week. So every week you can tune in on Friday afternoons. You can either catch Nick and myself, or you can catch Nick and Alex. So it works out perfectly. But yeah, quick for people who don't know who you are, Nick, Pokeplumber. Who are you? What do you collect? What's your story? What do you do? All that good stuff.
So you want like how it all like started, reboomed? Like
if you want to go deep, go deep. Or if you want to be quick, like whatever you wanna share with them. And then people might have more questions for you too.
Okay, so my little backstory is, of course, I was one of those Pokemon Go people that dabbled a little bit, but I didn't fully really dive in until Sun and Moon era. And I remember I brought my daughter to go see Detective Pikachu, and I was just buying packs in here and there, but Detective Pikachu really sparked it, right? And I remember going to Walmart and getting packs for my daughter, and we were just opening them. And I was like, this is so much fun. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was sleeving, reverses. I sleeved everything. I had no idea. Even if it was a non-holo rare, I sleeved it. And I remember my mom called me, and she's like, hey, you have a whole bunch of stuff in the basement. Can you come and get it? So back during college, this was around, I think, 2012. So I'm a little bit older. And I went to Walgreens, and they had a whole bunch of tins, right? And it was the Rayquaza level X, the Garchomp level X, and the Charizard level X. And they were like $10 a tin. So I bought 5 of them. And this is during college when I was partying. So I guess that night I drank a little bit, and I guess I only opened a couple tins. Because when I went in my mom's basement, I found, 3 sealed tins and all my Pokemon cards. And that just sparked it even more. So the tins were fairly expensive, not what they were until they hit the boom. And when they hit the boom, I was able to sell a $10 tin for $1,200, right? And I remember I went to Time Warp Comics and Games, and I traded him a tin for a couple Unified Minds cases. And after that, I mean, of course, in the beginning, you always dabble with, WotC. That's the home for me. And back then, I'll preface this, I didn't own my own company. I worked for another plumbing company. So I didn't have the money, right? And before the boom, a base set booster box was around, $3,000, $2,000. And I found a guy, he had one, and he's like, I need $4,000 for it. And I didn't even have, the $3,000, but I wanted it so bad. And then lo and behold, a year later, they went to like $30,000. And I was like, I'm never going to get one of those. And it was just, the vintage became so expensive, right? Like I still had all my vintage cards. I love vintage cards. I had the crystals, the shinings, everything. But I was still opening with my daughter. So when it came to, Cosmic Eclipse, I was just buying, one to keep sealed and one to open. Like I remember I found the Cool Trainer Ryan right back then. And like he was doing the sealed investing or whatever, right? And that's not what is today, but back then that's what it was. And I saw like Pokemon Revolution buying all this stuff, the Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just kept buying box after box after box. And then I just saw Cosmic go up to 400. And I was like, I love this set. I'm going to buy more of them. Then I went to 500. So then I kind of swayed a little to the modern. Like, don't get me wrong. I always love my vintage. But I definitely enjoy modern from XY to today. It's a lot of fun for me. It's affordable. And sometimes, it feels nice, even the Sword and Shield era. There's a lot of nostalgia for Sword and Shield era. It's nice to, sit back with my daughters and open Brilliant Stars that I paid $80 a box for, right? So, yeah, I mean, I love all Pokemon. Vintage good, modern good. That's how I see it.
It's all good. It's all Pokemon. Yep. I'm on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
So you did mention a little bit of collecting, investing. Not that anyone needs to be 100%. Like I think to an extent, people can wear a lot of different hats. People can play a lot of different roles depending on where they are in their journey. Would you say you're more of a collector or more of an investor, or what exactly?
I mean, I'm like a weirdo. Like I enjoy like looking at the box, right? Like when I'm holding a box, I like reading the back of it. I read the back of every one of these boxes. I can't even tell you how many times, right? So I'm more so a collector, but there is an investor part of me. I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. I have my investments in the important things, my 401k, etc. But with the extra money, I do dabble in Pokemon. And after seeing what happened with, the Ancient Origins, I was buying for $100 a box. Look at that now. So there is a part of me that, you could definitely benefit from this. And there's a nice little profit. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. I'm a collector too, because I open so much of it. It's so much fun to me. Yeah, it's like a battle within, right?
Thanks for the intro. I will just do our normal little podcast intro too. We're going to be hanging out for the next 2.5, 3 hours or so. So anyone that has questions in chat for Nick, myself, and guest Nick as well, feel free to leave them in there. But we're going to just go into the Q&A portion. We'll talk about what's going on. Any big things you're after for your sealed collection? I see a lot of the boxes kind of blend in, but I see like from your bottom left of screen, at least, or I guess mid left, I see XY base, I see Flashfire, Furious Fist. Like, do you have everything from XY base all the way up to current?
Yeah, I used to have everything from black and white till current, but then when I bought this house and I was redoing it, I did move a lot of my vintage slabs and the black and white because I was able to take a huge profit on a lot of it. But I still love my black and white too, even though it wasn't. Those full arts are still so beautiful. You can't tell me the black and white full arts aren't fantastic. But yeah, I have everything from XY to current right now. And I have some black and white stuff. I have Dragons Exalted and Legendary Treasures. Those are like my two favorite black and white sets. I have a Majestic Dawn. That's my favorite Diamond and Pearl set. And I recently just moved a Call Legends box that I'm kind of upset about. But I did very well on that as well. And that kind of went to Surging Sparks, if I'm being honest. I ended up with a good amount of Surging Sparks.
Is there like an ultimate goal to have one of every box sealed? Or is that too unrealistic?
I don't know. It's too unreal. It's just everything. Yeah. Like a first edition box, I rather put 200K in the modern, if I'm being honest, right? Like it would be awesome to have a first edition box. I've never had a first edition box. I've had base set boxes, Fossil, Team Rocket. But it's like when you get to a number like that, I think I could do better things with that money. That's my opinion.
Yeah, the opportunity cost, both as a collector and as an investor, I guess, right? Because I think things like that could do quite well over time. But if I'm solely seeking gains, I'd rather just have a couple pallets of some of the newest modern sets. I think those will appreciate more than something like base first. And as a collector, I'd rather just have several things as opposed to one. And then the risk of it being resealed and all that too, just how scary all that is. Yeah. And Nick, do you still have every pack art? You're not doing boxes, but you have every pack art, right?
Yeah, I do. I still have all the packs. I still like that.
That was one of the first things that we're talking back in the day. I think this is when I got into this is around 2018. You used to always post the pack arts.
Yep.
Yes, I remember that. Yep. And you had that's when I was buying WotC packs, but they were way cheaper back then. It was $30 for a Neo pack. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, I got those at the right time. I don't know if I would do that same collection again today.
I had one of my first collecting endeavors getting back in 2014. People on here have heard the story a bunch, but I don't know if you have. I actually wanted to open every box. So I came back in 2014. I'm like, XY Phantom Forces is set number 70 something. What are we talking about? I missed 50, 60 sets while I was gone for over a decade. So my first goal was I want to catch up on everything I missed. I opened every single box. I opened Team Rocket Returns. I opened all the Gold Star sets. I opened one of everything aside from first edition base. That was the only one I remember it was too much because it was $10,000 at the time.
It was on Collector's Cash for $10,000 forever.
That exact one, the one that Rusty bought, he pulled the Charizard that greater than 8, I believe, if I remember correctly.
I remember watching that.
Yep. So that was the one that I was like toying with the idea of it. But yeah, that was my like craziest collecting goal that I did. I guess I mostly met it because I opened several base set unlimited boxes, but I did my part towards all the booster box investors. Like, you're welcome, Pokemon booster box investors.
Yeah.
I took one off the list, right? There's one less of every box out there, if not more, because of me. I know like Aquapolis was one I actually opened 2 or 3 of because I enjoy the set. I remember I opened one, it was available, maybe $1,600 I paid back in 2014 to 2016 somewhere. And I remember I like made money opening and breaking the first one, and there was more available. So I'm like, let me just do that again. PokeRev, you had mentioned, he was doing a similar thing at the same time, ripping WotC boxes left and right, grading all the hits, like selling light packs, grading the light packs. It was wild times back then. And I guess to some extent it brought us where we are now, where a lot of this stuff is a lot more scarce. And that's always the big question, though, is unprecedented print runs are happening right now, but unprecedented amount of ripping is happening right now too.
Yeah.
Like I know I follow your Instagram, that there's a lot of plumbing on there. I saw Alex here. He said, bet this guy isn't even a real plumber. Always see a bunch of Pokemon boxes, but never any plungers or wrenches. If you watch, I was watching last night. You replaced the guts inside a couple toilet tanks, some new flaps, all that good stuff.
I did a steam late last night too for a boiler. Yeah. If
you want to see a little bit of plumbing content, definitely go. I linked in the description below. I linked Nick's Instagram. So go follow there for some good pack ripping content, some good plumbing content as well.
Yeah.
Little bit of everything there.
Yeah. I get those messages all the time. They're like, it's nice to see a mix. It's not always just Pokemon. And I mean, and you guys have been in it even longer than me, you just don't want to burn out, right? Like, everything can't be Pokemon. Like I've had that happen to me. This is like a couple years back, and I'm like, oh man, it's just so much. And then I was like, come on, like I have other hobbies with the hot toys, the like 6 scale, action figures. They're really nice. So I like made sure I didn't focus on Pokemon because I'm in here for the long run, but I don't want to be a burnout. I don't want to burn out, because if you're talking about it from morning to night every day, it just gets a little overwhelming. And then I have so many messages that are asking me questions, and I appreciate all the messages, but you can't just make Pokemon everything 24/7 or you'll burn out. And if you're in here for the long haul, that's what you want to avoid, right? Because I see so many people saying, I'm going to hold Chilling Reign for 5 years, and then they sell me 5 cases 2 years later, right?
Yeah.
I see that all the time.
And that's one of the things, like, I think it's a really reasonable fear that should, at least, not really a fear, it's a reasonable consideration we need to make. Like print runs are unprecedented. I think an unprecedented amount of people are like investing in this stuff too. I always I characterize it as like an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. The immovable object is the mountains of product that is being printed. But I think right now, and I think into the future, the unstoppable force, the live stream ripping, the late night having a couple too many IPAs, ripping into packs. I think
I did this the other day, and I'm like, why'd I open another one? Still chasing the Pikachu. And I do the same thing, but it's like
you're helping your investments.
How much everything's getting ripped, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of learned this lesson with Evolutions, right? Evolutions was literally available for 3 eras, right? People forget that it was in the beginning a Sword and Shield product too, right? In the early stages. And they printed that to oblivion. But this is just my perspective. Now it's even going up again. It went down to like 7, but at one point they were $1,000.
$25 a pack now. Yeah,
it's 25. I thought I hated it. I said it's like a fake base set, right? That's literally when I was opening this, I was like, I hate it. I'd rather get a base set pack. But now base set's so expensive, so now Evolution's a little more appealing, right?
Yeah.
No one's spending $15,000 to open a box when you could spend 8 and get an Evolutions box. But if that can be overprinted and be an $800 box, and I see everyone's ripping Surging Sparks nonstop, chasing the Pikachu, and these boxes are already $180.
It's wild.
And the thing is, it's actually drying up. And I know right now distribution has more, but they're playing the game and they're making their money right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to see the restock. And I hear so many rumors that there's a restock next week or it's in December. I don't really know, but I do know that with Paldea Evolved, that wasn't a reprint. That was a restock, right? Since I can remember I've seen black and white cases that always had the first date on it, and then the reprint had the no date on it. With the Paldean Evolved, it had still had the date on it. That's not
released until the street date, right? Yeah.
Street date. So that's not a reprint. That's a restock. I don't know. I'm still curious. There's no pattern with Scarlet and Violet. There's always reprints, and I don't know what's taking so long. We have 10 there's just too many sets to be reprinted at this point. So I don't want to miss out because, like I said, I was opening Brilliant Stars with my kids the other day, and it cost me what it cost. I'm not opening a box that cost me $220. It cost me $80. So I don't know. I'd rather have the Surging Spark so I can open it in a couple of years, and just in case. I don't know anymore. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's getting so tough to figure out. I'm in that conundrum right now.
Yeah.
Whether because I sold out of all the boxes for my lives. I have 10 cases set aside that I was planning to hold on to, but it's like now do I list some of those or do I just hold everything?
I know
because we don't know if we're going to get any type of reprint. It's been the only reprinted boxes that are restocked boxes, whatever you want to call it, is Paldea Evolved. Aside from that, we haven't gotten anything.
Yeah, we had a couple ETBs. That's it. I think that was the ETBs, but that's pretty much it. It's scary.
Yeah, it seems like they're really making a point. At least it feels that way. I'm not sure if it's actually the case, but it feels like they're making a point to distribute more things through Costco, to distribute more things through like ancillary product that is not the primary, like booster boxes, ETBs. They're doing these collection tins. They're doing these specialty products. We have one coming in the spring for 151 that was announced. I forget what the name was, but we've had for a long time now the Sea and Sky collection or whatever that has the Rayquaza promo, the Crown Zenith in Costco's and stuff. So maybe that's their way that like they know if they, and this is like tinfoil hat, this is theorizing. Maybe they're just trying to avoid going through the primary channels because they know the distributors will sit on it, invest in it some. They'll scalp it. They'll charge it higher to their LGSs, who then will charge it higher to the ultimate people. Whereas if they like right now, I bought over the past week 3,000 or 4,000 packs of 151 at like $7 a pop. You can get those for like, it's like $3 something a pack at full retail within those 151 mini tin collection things at Costco. So that might just be, I mean, ultimately, I know people who've bought out a pallet worth of it. They've broken it all down. They've sold it to me. So it's like if Pokemon's intended thing is to get it to the end consumer at retail, it's not working perfectly. But the majority though, like we do see the videos of Costco, people falling over each other, people like Black Friday type videos, 2020, 2021 type videos. I think that's the exception though. I think there's a lot of Costco's across the country, and I think a lot of Costco's across the country don't have issues, haven't had issues. And yeah, so you're probably seeing just the, as with anything in media today, you're seeing the most negative, the most fiery things going on at any of the Costco's. But I personally have not sold out of Surging Sparks. I'm like playing it slow. I've sent 12 cases so far to my streamers. I have PK and Ponga streaming for me every night on Fanatics. But I started with 38 cases. I sent 12 cases to my streamers, so I have 26 left. I've put 4 on my pallet, my investment pallet that's being locked up for till 2030. So I still have over 20 of them. And I'll keep feeding the streamers as it goes. But I don't have any major plans. I think I have 4 cases up on eBay at like $1,035 a case. Those should sell anytime now, I think. That's about what market price is. Yeah. I thought about bumping the price up to prevent them from selling, but it's like, there could be a restock at any time. There could be a second wave that distributors let out that they've had all along. Like we genuinely don't know. it's impossible to tell. So I'm just I'm playing it that way for now.
Well, the reason I don't think that's going to happen, right, is because think about this. Every first print run, right, you get it for a good price, right? Like sub $600 a case. But then every time there's a second print or a third print, like recently, it's not recently, but like even with Lost Origin, it was way more expensive. It was like $720 a case, right?
Yep.
So even if LGSs are paying $720 a case, do you really think they're going to drop the price down when they see how fast this product's going? I think for the first time that I've seen in a while, everybody's on the same page and they don't know if they're going to get more. Like with Twilight Masquerade, they have no idea if they were going to get more. So why are they going to sell it at a cheaper price when they know that they can make the money off it and they can sit on it? Like they don't have to sell right away, which is the beautiful thing now, because now LGS because my local ones that I'm very close with, they are kind of have the same mindset. They're like, I'll keep it at this price. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. He goes, Nick, I can't get any more Surging Sparks right now. Not even ETBs. And that's the scariest part, right?
Yeah.
So for this set, I don't know. I just grabbed a couple more cases, the other day because I don't know. But then you can look at like history back then, and I'm not comparing it to Vivid Voltage because it's a better set than Vivid Voltage. But those things were selling for $220 and I was getting the cases back then, and I was like, all right now Cosmic Eclipse is $200. I was selling Vivid Voltage for that number, and then I was buying boxes of Cosmic Eclipse. It was just, I don't know. So I just don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, Scarlet and Violet has been so off the norm that I don't know with the print runs. Like, are they going to say like, no one liked it in the beginning, so we don't have to print it? Or is Pokemon going to say, all right, let's ramp up print runs a little bit? It's just so unknown right now. And for you guys to not know either, that's pretty scary, right?
It's so tough. And then would now, because like, how far back can they go to reprint stuff? Especially now where we have the Eevee set coming. They're going to print a ton of that. And then we have the Team Rocket set, another set they're going to print a ton of. How far back are they going to be able to go to actually do these types of reprints? There's just so many unknowns. It's wild.
Yeah,
Always exciting and impossible to try to figure out what to do.
It is.
The rip and ship angle is the real killer now, because now I up until 6 weeks ago I was not in that space, and I got Alex right here. Maybe I'll sell you 4 cases worth, Alex, if you want to buy. Hit me up, slide into the DMs. Maybe I'll sell you some. But yeah, I've never been from that angle before, and it is wild to think like, well, I have 20 cases ish approximately left. That's about 4,000 packs. 4,000 packs does not last super long. 4,000 packs can go
2 days?
quick.
2 days, maybe?
I think on release weekend, I want to say Ponga had one night where he did 700 or 800. I know I've heard Alex mention that he's done over 1,000 packs a couple individual nights. It's one thing we need Pokemon to do in the future. It's like, please, Pokemon, create a new SKU. Just sell us a pallet of loose packs, please. Like for the streamers, sell us pallets of loose packs. Save the planet. We don't need all this extra air, all this extra packaging.
Cardboard, yeah.
Like, I just did the math. I think there's 100 cases on a pallet approximately, so 600 boxes. So that would be like 21,600 packs on a pallet. Please, Pokemon, create a pallet SKU. Sell me 25,000 packs at once.
But they have that box that has like 720 packs in it.
I was just gonna say, where do those packs go? Who gets those? Because I've never seen those through distro.
Alex actually just got one from somebody, and he wanted more, but then the guy raised the price more. But yeah, I've seen those, and you don't really see. Not many people get those, but yeah, they literally have like 720 packs and one big cardboard box, and it's a legit Pokemon product.
Yeah,
maybe it's something they make for like MJ Holdings or whatever. Those mystery boxes they make, like they might. That might be, that's all theory. I have no idea. That's me speculating. But yeah, that I have seen those before too. And Nick, what was it with some of the specialty sets? They're like, weren't there ones with celebrations that had, because they're smaller packs? Or maybe I'm thinking Detective Pikachu. There were definitely some specialty products. I want to say there were some with like a couple thousand packs, but maybe they were smaller.
I've never
packs.
personally.
I know you have the sampling pack cases.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of those. I might just be thinking of those. But yeah, it's Sebastian says, I think there's thousands of people that now buy into breaks instead of buying at retail because you can get it for basically the same price. Plus, you can watch dozens of packs get opened without the product. Yeah, it's wild. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. You can use history as a guide, but like it's not any certainty. Like there's definitely been ebbs and flows over the past decade that I've been involved in Pokemon. Very different cycles of what types of products get restocked and when, and people are always looking for patterns. People are always looking for like some rule to follow, and then Pokemon will just do something for the first time ever and it will just shake everything up. Like it's pretty wild to try to track all this.
It's exciting though. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like,
I'm
having a lot of fun with this right now. Like I love this. I know it's like I don't know if I'm so excited for the next set because I don't even know my prices. I don't know how many I'm able to get for Prismatic Evolution, right? But I don't know. Like this is the first time I can't even tell you the last. Like I love the beginning of Scarlet and Violet because there was very few people. I mean, who was it? Cool Trainer Cheese, right? Him and I from the beginning loved Scarlet and Violet era, and dude, these illustration rares are fantastic. I don't care what anyone says. Right. But everyone's like, it's not a big time Pokemon, so we don't love it. Right. And I that was a lot of fun for me. It reminded me of back then when Sun and Moon, when no one wanted it. And I mean, even with Sword and Shield, when it had the hype, I was still able to get what I wanted. But now it's like, well, it shouldn't be this hard. Like I'm nervous. I'm going to be honest. For the next set, I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen. I was only able to get. I ended up with 6 Pokemon Center ETBs, and that's it. And they're not cases. Like my father-in-law grabbed me 2 of them, and I had no idea. And I was like, "Thank you." So the unknown. That's the only thing I'm not excited about. But right now with the market, yes, this is so much fun, and I'm trying to just stay in the moment because this can go by fast. It could take a little while. I don't know, but I just know I'm in for the ride, and I'm having a blast right now.
Yeah, Nick, did you get numbers yet for Prismatic?
I did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, old school. I said I was going to do it earlier. I said I wouldn't say Nick. I'd say OldSkoolPokemon. That was my bad. Sorry.
I did for Mad Al, but my Mad Al, I didn't order. I don't remember the last set I ordered through Mad Al.
You got allocated though, right? They didn't even take a pre-order.
Yeah, it was just get your numbers.
Yep.
But I was kind of surprised because I did get I got 50 ETBs through Mad Al, and then like 1 case of all the collection boxes. So I thought that was decent considering
you haven't bought from them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I got 130 ETBs from them. That's normally what I get for like a regular set, but I usually get like 10 to 20 cases of ETBs for a regular set, and then I get 20-ish to 25 cases of the booster boxes. But obviously with Prismatic, we don't have booster boxes. So like I went through and I added up what my entire pre-order was, or my entire allocation was from Mad Al. It's only like $8,000. I'm only going to get like a couple thousand packs of Prismatic, maybe 2,000-3,000. And it's like PK and Ponga are going to need that much for launch weekend. I'm going to have to go into the open market because Mad Al is currently my bigger distributor. They, my other distributor, I use GTS as well. I like changed my address with them. I changed it a few years ago when I moved. I changed something else with them. I think I had never had my S Corporation name on there. I think they were still on my old DBA that I used to work under when I was a sole proprietor. So I changed that, and it screwed with my allocations because they're treating me almost as if I'm like a newer account than I actually am. So yeah, all of Prismatic, I only have 3,000 or 4,000 packs coming. So that's between both my distributors. I'm going to need to go to the open market. I'm just going to please reach out to me. I will buy many, many thousands of packs at 80% market. If it ends up being a situation where it's $70 ETBs, $80, $90 ETBs, and you're able to just buy a pallet of them at Costco or wherever they end up, I will just need to buy a bunch of loose packs from people.
Well, that's what I was saying to Alex the other day is you have to think about it this way with an ETB case. What is it? 9 in an ETB now. So you're getting 90 packs, and that's less than 3 booster boxes, right? Yeah. So for these rip and shippers, they're going to need, 2.2 of the product to just equal a case of booster boxes, right? So they're going to need so much more product, and you're essentially doubling everything. So everyone's allocations are double. Like if things go right for me, I'm not greedy. I'm happy, but I have someone that I believe is going to give me 15, right? And it's at a fair price. So I'm cool with that, but I don't know the 100%, right? Like he gave me like a ballpark price, right? So I don't even have an exact price, but that's why the uncertainty is scaring me so much, because I know how people are going to rip through this like crazy. So Pokemon just comes and says, here, this is what we've been doing. This is what we've been printing. Get ready. It's scary.
Mm-hmm. Sebastian said in sports cards, they make Breakers Delight packs. I'm sure Pokemon will do something like that down the road. Boxes made for Breakers with special packs. It's kind of surprising. Like they don't have a better way to just inject packs directly, like without all the extra fluff. Think about, and I'm not like some super green guy like that, like super like, I mean, I don't want the planet to be destroyed or anything. I mostly say it tongue in cheek, but like when I say sorry Earth, honestly, like you've got these trucks of just mini tins and all these things going to Costco. Then you got people in my Discord that drive to them, bring all the product home, break it all down, and they ship the box across to me, and then I ship the box to my streamers. It's like, and then the people that hit the cards, they ship in case they're hit cards in plastic. And man, we're really destroying the planet these days.
Crazy, right?
Got a few questions coming in. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Got a quick one here from PokeChef. So we've got not on your Pokemon expertise side, but if he wants to snake his own kitchen drain, how many feet of snake does he need? He said he hates paying for that task. He's here for a plumbing consult.
In theory, a secondary line shouldn't exceed more than 25 feet. So 25 feet, 15 to 25 feet. That's it.
Go down to Home Depot or Lowe's and get a 20, 25
that
foot
little
snake.
Drill thing, and it's boom, boom, boom. I use it. It's fantastic. But yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Happy to help.
Here for all your sealed Pokemon collecting and investing and plumbing needs as well.
Yes.
One-stop shop.
Ernesto says we have PokeChef in the chat. We got PokePlumber on screen. We need a Poke Electrician.
Yeah, we do. I could use an electrician.
Here's actually a question that we had earlier on that I was just waiting to take when it made sense. It's a good question. Mega Evomart says best places to source older Sun and Moon in X and Y boxes. Feel like no stores have them these days.
Collector's Cash.
Collector's Cash?
Email Beamer.
There you go.
But you have to email him, right? That's the only way you can talk to him, unless you
Does
call.
he have many up on his site at most times? Or
he took down a lot. He took down a lot because I recently grabbed more before this new spike that we had, and he took down a lot. But I know Beamer has a good stock. Beamer's very fair. I love that dude. He's hooked me up so much.
There you go.
Nothing but respect for him.
There's the XY Sun and Moon plug. Yeah, some of these sets, if you browse eBay or whatever, if you look around, like there's not much depth there. Even some of the newer sets, sometimes there's only there's 40 or 50 boxes until the price goes up another 50 or $100. It's pretty wild how thin the listed quantity will be on a lot of this stuff, because it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there to some extent, but every era you go back, I would say there's like significantly less each additional era back. It's wild.
Yeah.
Sebastian wants to know, is Lost Origin underrated as a long-term investment set? It's clearly the second best set from Sword and Shield, but still priced with the rest of the era. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I would say for now, I think it's a good price, just because we had those available. When did that finally go out of stock? It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, not August.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say for now it's priced fairly, just because that was the last one that finally went out of stock. But I do agree it is definitely the second best Sword and Shield set.
I love Chilling Reign. I'm a big Chilling Reign guy. I got a whole bunch of those. See, that's what I do too. Is when no one's focused. Like, all right, I'm gonna go into something real quick. Is that all right?
Let's hear it.
Absolutely.
All right. The Sword and Shield as a whole, like I watched this, like I said, I started really paying attention during Sun and Moon era. Unified Minds sat at 200, 250 for like a year, right? And it did nothing for a year. And I'm looking at Chilling Reign, which is a beautiful set, right? At one point, I made a deal with someone. I was grabbing them for $4.80 a case, right? And they're like, you have to take all of them. And I was like, fine. Chilling Reign is such a stacked set. It's beautiful. Brilliant Stars, I still feel like is underpriced. Silver Tempest, even though it's on Pokemon Center, I can't believe it's not sold out yet. Maybe because they're afraid how it's going to come in. Maybe it's dinged, ripped. But you have Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, even Astral Radiance. I like to look where everyone's like Surging Spark. And I'm like, hey, we're definitely not going to get any more Sword and Shield. Mm-hmm. So if you can get Silver Tempest for $900 a case right now, I love that. I love anything Sword and Shield. Like I said, I am a huge advocate when it comes to Chilling Reign because no one believed in it. And even Fusion Strike went down to $80, $90 a box for a while. I just think everyone turned their back on Sword and Shield, and to me, it's still a fantastic error. I don't care what anyone says. So yeah, right now, I think I'm happy with what I have right now in Scarlet and Violet Era because when everyone was focusing on Sword and Shield, I was focusing on Scarlet and Violet Era. Now everyone's on Scarlet and Violet Era. Now I'm focusing back on Sword and Shield Era a little bit.
Yeah, I just verified because I thought it was the case. You can't even buy. One of the issues with Silver Tempest is you can only buy 4 at a time, which is annoying because I like to just deal in sealed cases for pretty much everything. And it's just annoying to have to buy 4. One of the first things I did when I had the streaming startup, all my loose individual boxes I shipped to PK and Ponga because I don't like dealing. I like dealing by the case. It's harder like as you go back further, but that's I wanna palletize some of these. I want to transport them 6 years into the future and just see what the new environment's like, see what's going on. Anytime you would have done that in the past would have been great. And there's many times that I've set cases back of sets. I remember setting back XY base a case. I remember setting back like a case of a lot of different the XY era sets, 1 to 2 cases what I was doing at the time with intent to have them years and years. And then the price has just always gotten to where I thought it would be in 10 years. It's always there in 2 years or less. Like it's wild. I always have tried to set something back, but that's what I'm doing with this palette experiment. I'm forcing myself to like, these things are going out of sight, out of mind. They're going off site. They're being locked down for 6 years minimum. And we'll see how that goes. I'm really excited to see how that goes. I might be forced into some higher returns than I would have yielded otherwise.
but at least you're fortunate. At least you're fortunate enough to do that, right? Which is like awesome because I have a lot of friends that do the streaming or whatever, and I talk to them all the time. And 95% of those people do not save anything, right? Because they're like, it's making me so much money now. Why would I even hold it, right? Yeah. So what you're doing right now is fantastic. It's perfect. You're fortunate. And I mean, that's the thing is, I didn't have back then. You had like primetime Pokemon on YouTube, but no one was telling you to buy cases, right? I didn't even know about cases, right? I just was buying boxes, and then thank God, like the comic place was like, hey, we have cases of this, cases of that. So the new collectors are very lucky these days because it's like, hey, you can. I didn't know about Pokemon Center for a year, right? And now it's you can learn so much just from YouTube, and it's a beautiful thing. And you're in that position right now where you can hold that stuff. So I mean, even in 5 years, when this stuff is, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I guarantee that palette. That's one of my favorite things that you're doing. I can't wait to see the end result on that. Like it's a 6-year thing that I'm willing to wait for, and I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too because several times in my 10-year journey in Pokemon, I've had the thought that like, I'm not going to touch these for 3, 5, 10 years. And then it's always just so happened that like, they just get to the prices that I assume they'll be in 5 years. They get there in 5 months, or Surging Sparks, they get there in 5 days, 5 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild. Here's actually a timely question we can pop on that just came through. Thanks, Chris, for the question. Better investment, quality Evolving Skies or quantity booster boxes? $2K budget per month. So what PokePlumber just said, I have on my channel, KetchumAllCollectibles, I have like an investing series that I'm doing. I'm building alongside my dad we're both putting in approximately $2,000 a month. So it matches exactly the budget that you're talking about. So not in theory, you can see what I'm actually doing. If you want to go, it's not going to be a frequent posting series. It's going to be like, I posted the original video 6 months ago. I did a 6-month update. I'll probably check in at a year, 2 years, and probably just annually at that point. But I'm not putting Evolving Skies booster boxes at their current prices on it. They could perform well from where they are. They could do what Team Up did. Like, we never know. Nobody ever knows. Like 700, that's way too much. One of the common sentiments that I largely agree with is like, it's easier for a $100 box to go to 200 than it is for a $700 box to go to 1,400, right? But how many boxes in the time that Team Up went from 1,000 to 3,000 stayed fairly stagnant from 150 to 250? So there's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be, and I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough knowledge or experience or information, whatever I'm lacking. I don't have it to where I can know which set it is. So I always do like the scatter shot method. I grab a little bit of everything and I let the market do its thing. I let the Pokemon hobby do its thing. And yeah, I have on those pallets, I intend to have 10 to 20 cases of every main release set. I intend to have a few cases of the specialty set ETBs. And more, I haven't historically done it a lot, but I did put a little bit of shiny treasure on the first pallet that's entirely flat since I put it on there. But I think some of that will do well. I did put some 151 on pallet 2. We are, as far as I understand, 151 Japanese reprint is hitting right now. So like a week ago, it was 80 something a box through _retrospecs on Instagram, who I always have to shout out, where I get most of my Japanese products. But I think he, I don't know if he's posted today, but I want to say it's coming in
70.
I was going to say it's at least down to 70, if not slightly lower. But yeah, sorry, I went on a long rant there. What are you guys' answers to this question? Mine is like a little bit of everything because I'm not smart enough to identify what's going to pop the most. So I just want to have it all.
I agree with you. At a smaller scale, that's what I'm doing. Just some of every booster box. I don't do the specialty sets just because I don't like how much room they take up. But every standard set set aside. I was doing 2 cases in Scarlet or Sword and Shield, 4 cases at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet, 10 cases like starting with Surging Sparks. So yeah, just a little bit of everything. I do believe in Evolving Skies still, even though it is so expensive. But just like you said, it's a lot easier for $150 box to double than it is for that $750, $800 box to double up. So I would feel better about the quantity over quality type of thing.
So for me, it's tough because I remember when Team Up went to 1,200, right? And I was like, all right, this is where it's gonna stay, right? And I sold a couple of them, and it just shattered that every time, right? And this is how I see it. With Team Up, you didn't have as much demand, right? And yes, there was less product, but you had hold on, like this. Sorry, still work. So with Team Up, it didn't have as much demand, right? Evolving Skies, yes, it had 3 reprints or whatever, or 3 print runs, but the demand is so crazy for that, right? And now Evolving Skies is hitting $800 a box. It might even be hitting more right now. Mm-hmm. But if you were to have, scarcity, diversity, I do the same thing, right? It's not like I said, because when Evolving Skies came out, not everybody was like, oh, this is going to be the set of a decade. It's going to be, like in the end, yes, when it was going up to $200 a box, yes, we started seeing that. But Brilliant Stars was right behind Evolving Skies, and that just disappeared, right? Mm-hmm. I'm doing the same thing. Diversity, specialty sets, Pokemon Go, Shining Fates. Unfortunately, I still have those, and I kind of was getting deterred from it. But once 151 came, I had to grab a good amount of it. So I'm a mess because I do booster boxes. I don't do the 144 count blisters anymore. I do booster boxes and I do ETBs. Specialty set ETB cases, and now I'm doing one of every Pokemon Center ETB case, unless it's like a 151. And then I ended up with a little more than one. But I like to have at least one PC ETB because I do believe in these promos and people go crazy over the stamp. But I'm trying to be as diverse. And the collection boxes, I used to always do every new collection box. It got too crazy with that. So I don't know. And I also like buying things when they're lower than MSRP too. So it's just diversity right on. And the one other thing I wanted to hit you with, because of you, Dan, my dad gave me 12 grand to put in the 151, right? Because I saw what your dad was doing, right?
Nice.
And I told my dad about it, and he literally put that number in it's Japanese 151, right? But we got them in the reprint when they were really low, and we got rid of half the position, right? So we basically sold them for double. And now we're into the rest for nothing. And as far as the reprint, I was talking to a Japanese seller, and he said it could be any day. And then another guy said he thinks December. So I don't know. I know it's coming, and maybe that's why things are dropping, but I don't think they've given an exact day yet.
It could be the fact that people are starting to get when the date is, and so they're just unlocking some inventory that they're sat on. Because like there are definitely bottlenecks and constraints in the distribution chain. Like more people than ever are investing in this stuff, and because we had it before. I forget the exact timing. My memory's not amazing, but there were announcements of 151 being reprinted, and it went from like 150 a box to like 120 a box instantly, without any of that new product actually coming to market, because people who had a ton of it just started unloading it to some extent before the restock came. And yeah, I remember, again, I forget the exact timing, but I broke Japanese 151 on my YouTube channel last year for $151 a box. At one point it was that much. And then at some point over the summer, it was all the way down to like 40 something, or maybe high 30s, depending on who your contact was, how many you were buying. And I ended up putting 100 on the pallet at $50 a pop. I didn't perfectly time the bottom, but I'm still sitting pretty with what's there. And like the whole time I've been buying them and having the streamers sell them. Like that set streams very well. People are very excited to open that all the time. It's been wild. But another thing too, Chris,
Master Balls, people love them.
The Master
and we're getting them. We're getting them in English.
I am
Prismatic,
so
baby.
excited. I am so excited.
Oh no.
One thing I wanted to finish though with Chris Kaysen's question. 2K a month, that's like a fairly hefty sum, 24,000 in a year. You can do a little bit of both too. Porque no los dos. Like you don't have to necessarily only do one or the other. If you want a single box of Evolving, your budget's not done for the month. I mean, you could pick up 1 month, you could pick up a box of Evolving and then a couple cases of other sets still. Like that's a fair bit of money. If you're telling me $100 a month, you're fairly limited in what you can do, right? Whereas 2K a month, like that's you could be a little bit all over the place with it. You can do more with that. But we do have a good steady flow of questions coming in now. I will keep taking more. Pokemon DK wants to know, when will the market slow? Looking ahead with future hype set releases, it doesn't look like 2025 will be any different to Q4 2024. It could slow at any time. That is the actual answer. I have no idea. If I had to speculate, though, I don't think it will slow significantly in the next 6 months. With Prismatic, with English seeing all the Master Balls come out, with the Team Rocket set on the horizon, it's wild out there, and I have a hard time seeing anything that will stop it in the next 6 months. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed to not stop, but I just don't see what would cause that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I can't see it. Like we were saying earlier with the Eevee set, the Team Rocket set, being around the holidays, having the TCG Player Black Friday sale coming up, I can't see it slowing down anytime soon.
So what I think is, I mean, now people always speculate because like the last 4 or 5 sets of like the end of the eras have always been, pretty solid as of the last 3 eras. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, we still have 4 more main sets to come. So I think they're going to go out with a banger, right? So I'm saying maybe a year. You have 4 more specialty sets, and that's a year right there. Right now, we're riding a great wave. It could be, like Dan said, 6 months. But this, like I said, this is all speculation. This is just a guess, right? Maybe a year. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I said 6 months, I wasn't saying like in 6 months exactly. That's when all the hype wave will stop. I don't think it will happen within six. Maybe it doesn't happen within a year, 2 years. Like, genuinely have no clue whatsoever. I'm always poised and ready for things to die down a little bit, and we've had those times. We've had those short little times over the past few years where it was slower, it was quieter. But lately, like the past month and a half, especially, well, with YouTube alone, like YouTube viewership, and it's wild. It's absolutely insane. Alex wants to know too, what are you guys going to do for a living when the bubble pops? We have an idea what the PokePlumber might do. Any chance you need an apprentice?
I need plumbers today. I need plumbers right now. I had a guy. Oh my God, I don't want to even get into that. I need help now.
I'm relatively handy. So the house I live in now was built in 2004. So it doesn't really need anything done to it. But the house, my starter home, it was built in like the 60s. Okay. And I replumbed, I rewired the whole house. So I'm gonna go to PokePlumber Nick to get a plumbing job if and when the bubble pops.
You're hired. Bring it on.
We can rip packs together on break.
There we go.
So much fun. That'd be so much fun. I'm in my truck the other day opening Surging Sparks. I'm like, this is like an issue. And outside, I told him I was writing an estimate, and I'm over here chasing a Pikachu. I have sleeves just in case. Oh man, that's bad.
Have you pulled one yet or no?
No. And I gave Alex
a tough card to pull.
I gave Alex cases, and in 2 cases, pulls back to back Pikachu.
Oh man!
I've opened 3 cases now, 3 booster box cases, ETB case, and then 3 pre-release cases. I did the same thing with Evolving Skies, and I thought I learned my lesson, and I have to stop because I have so much more Evolving Skies right now, but I kept opening it. Like I do the math now of what it's worth. I'm like, oh my God, I've opened 40 grand in product. I can't do that.
It's worth that though, because it's worth that because you opened it though. You helped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You helped the cause.
Everyone's like, how do you have self-control? How do you do it with all your still stuff? I'm like, you do not know behind the scenes.
Yeah. You don't see my trash every week with all the empty back numbers. I sent about 3,000 packs, I want to say, worth of Surging Sparks to PK in total. He's probably only opened 2,000 packs so far, if even that. He's pulled 5. He's pulled 5 in less than 2,000 packs.
No way.
Yep. Because they have on Fanatics, they had like a bounty. I think the bounty might be expired now, but at a new set release, they offered $200 for every Pikachu pulled. They offered $100 to the person who pulled it in break credit to use on chasing more Pikachus. Cool. And then they did a giveaway to the chat for $100 as well. So 20 were given site wide, and we pulled 5 of them. I don't think Ponga ever pulled one, but yeah, PK pulled 5. So we pulled 5 out of the 20 that Fanatics had bounties for.
Were these all from the same batch? Because then I hear like people get deep into it, conspiracy
matching issues and things like that.
Issues, yeah.
So my whole, between my 2 distributors, like I broke down 150-ish ETB cases, and they were probably half from one distributor, half from the other. And then I shipped 8 booster cases, probably again blended. I don't segregate which ones are which. They all just go into a pile on a pallet. But they were largely, I guess they were 2 batches at most. They were 2 batches at most because they came from just 2 distributor orders.
Did you notice that in the ETB cases, some boxes are light and some are dark? I've never seen that before. I think I have
noticed that.
I'm not very observant at all. I don't notice things like that.
You got 150 ETB cases of Surging Sparks?
Oh, 150 ETBs. If I misspoke, sorry.
Hey, okay.
I did not get 1,500. No, I broke down 150 ETBs. So 15 ETB cases. Sorry.
It might be hard to see on screen. Can you see the difference? Like the top one's lighter than the bottom one?
Like the background, right? Not the letters?
Yeah, the background. Yeah, I've never
it does look a little bit later.
So I was like,
interesting.
That's bad. I didn't pull one SIR out of a case.
I was gonna say for science now, you've got every case you find that has those, you gotta split them, lights and darks, and you gotta give us like 5,000 packs worth of data on each.
Well, I'm opening a case this weekend with the girls, with my daughters. So we'll see how that goes. I'll see. I'll give you a little. Yeah, I'll give you some numbers. See if it's the same thing. I don't know.
How many like of a typical set would you estimate? I know it's probably very hard to estimate, but like how many packs of a given set do you normally open? Because I open one ETB, and my wife, each of my kids open one ETB of each set at release. I keep things on lock because this stuff's expensive.
Do you want to know real numbers? Well,
I mean, if you don't want to share, I know it's probably hard to estimate too.
I mean, like looking back, like even when I wasn't that crazy, I still opened like 15 boxes of Cosmic Eclipse, right? Ancient Origins, I've probably opened like 10 boxes of Ancient Origins. But with like the newer stuff, Astral Radiance, I opened 3 cases chasing the Machamp. So Evolving Skies, I pulled every Alt Art 2 or 3 times, and I never pulled a Moonbryon. And I opened... So those are the most packs I've ever opened, right? And then I enjoyed Temporal Forces. So I said, I'm going to try this with Scarlet and Violet, and I ruined it with Surging Spark. So I get the pre-release cases, a couple of weeks before release, and I always open 2 pre-release cases, right? And it comes with 10 build and battles and a booster box. So I was like, with Stellar Crown, I opened 2 of those. So every set I was doing 2 of those in Scarlet and Violet era and not touching any booster box cases. But now with Surging, I like this set so much, and I wanted the Latios, Latias and Latios, the Milotic. So it's like now I'm like all in, and everyone's like, just buy the card. But for me, like I just want to pull it. That's it.
Pull it. Yeah.
I gotta pull it. But I got way better, right, since Sword and Shield era, and I was sticking to only 2 pre-release kits, but now I've ruined that. I relapsed, and I've opened, I don't know, at least maybe 1,200 packs now, at least.
Oh man.
Yeah, but see, like I'm not a breaker, and I don't sell Pokemon, so I'm like sitting here, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do that plumbing job at 7:00 at night. Oh, that's 2 Surging Sparks cases. That's how I see it. I'm crazy.
We've got so many questions coming. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate them. Yes. So you were talking about like the saturation or color difference on the ETBs. Fat Belly wants to know if anyone else has noticed difference in pack foils. Open Crown Zenith Sam's Club and the packs on the left felt different than the right. Anyone else notice the packs feeling differently? I feel like years ago, I don't think I've done it recently, but I don't open packs in bulk recently. I feel like I have noticed differences. Like they mass produce this stuff. Sometimes the packaging is really rough. I mean, the ETB coloration thing too. It could just be they're printing a million ETBs and they're printing it in 2 or 3 different facilities. One facility just has a slightly different coloration. Like the amount they're trying to chase on this stuff, it's not unheard of to have like quality issues. So that's all I chalk all this up to. Now, will certain types of product, will certain variations of product have juicier hit rates? I think one thing we're really bad at doing is attributing trends to like correlation, causation, that whole thing. I think our human minds are always looking for trends and things like that. We'll open a very small sample size of product and we'll think like there's a lot of sentiment out there that 3-pack blisters are luckier or less lucky than booster boxes and this and that. I don't really subscribe to any of that. I think the pull rates are so crazy. And actually we had Alex, he said right here, he didn't open his first Pikachu until 2,200 packs in. And then he opened 2 of them in his next 500 packs. That's just how odds work. That's how, like, if something is 1 in 1,000, you could go 5,000 packs dry, and then you could pull back to back. Like it all averages out in the long term, 1 in 1,000. But we have a hard time like wrapping our minds around those odds and how that all works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, we got some funny questions in here. Here we go. A-Town wants to know, is this correlated with the crypto boom? I've actually had in the past 2 days. What's Bitcoin at right now? Let me see. I've had in the past 2 days.
So 80, what is it? 84 right now?
89.5. It was up over 90 a little bit yesterday.
Up more?
It was up a little over 90 yesterday. I had
Holy crap.
multiple people reach out to me this week trying to pay in Bitcoin and buy a bunch of seals for me. So I don't think it's like necessarily one-to-one correlated by any stretch, but like absolutely it has some effect. The fact that the S&P 500 is up so much this year, the fact that Bitcoin crypto is up so much this year, some amount of that goes into Pokemon. Not all of it. It's not only up because the other markets are up, but they're all tied together to some extent. It's just what percentage. I have no idea what I'd put on it, but what do you guys think? Is there any relationship, or kind of like I'm saying, is it just slightly related, I guess?
I've noticed the difference personally. Like I every time there's a crypto boom, I see let's say for the past couple of years now, like every time there's a little bit of a crypto boom, I see a lot of those guys buying Pokemon, right? And I used to talk so much crap on crypto because I was like, it's not tangible, I didn't like it. And I mean, that's another thing. It proves itself time and time again. And I wish I said yes and I bought Bitcoin. Like that's one of my regrets that I have. Like I could have got it for a great price, and look at it now. And every time I think about it, I was like, oh, instead I bought a freaking car. I bought a BMW because I thought it was cool, and it's like, oh my God. Dude, I'm still sick about it. I didn't take I take a leap on everything. And I didn't take and it wasn't even expensive yet. It wasn't crazy like that.
It might not be late yet. I heard it's going to 1 million.
I hear that I heard it was gonna, I heard 100,000 and now it's gonna hit 100,000. It's like Team Up. I was like, Team Up's never gonna hit $2,000. Oh, it hit $2,000. It's at 3 right now. So
yeah, it flew past $2,000.
Yeah, flew.
Yep.
Oh, Lucky Bunny says, I get that they move together slightly. My question is, there enough sellers accepting Bitcoin or crypto for this form of payment? I would assume most Pokemon sellers probably don't accept crypto, but I don't know. I do. If people want to pay with that, I usually just immediately sell it and turn it into money. I have my crypto separately from as part of my portfolio from what I do in my business. But yeah, I pay out consigners in crypto. I occasionally will buy collections in crypto, but I know I've accepted it on behalf of other people. So I've like middleman transactions where I've been at a convention, someone was wanting to pay in crypto, the guy that they wanted the card from didn't accept it. So I've like taken Ethereum, sold it, and then Zelled money over, Venmo'd money over. But I don't know what percent of vendors would take crypto. No idea.
I don't know. I can't imagine it's a very big percentage.
Would you, Nick, if someone hit you up like, hey, I want what you have on eBay?
I would have no idea how to even do that.
So you'd hit me up and you'd let me get like 0.5% or 1% on that transaction, right?
Yeah, I'd do it through you.
There we go. I'm your official crypto middleman guy. I will facilitate.
Yes.
Oh man. I'm trying to skip through some of the extra meme questions that I normally take. So Fat Belly collects. I'm assuming, I don't know if this is like investing wise, or I think this is actually like for your display behind you. Are those all in? Those must be in the hard plastic cases, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise they wouldn't stand so neatly like that.
I would never stack them, right? Yeah. Like I used to do that back then. Like I had like a little dresser that had like your XY stuff. Like I didn't understand like the wrapping. I was like, oh, as long as the wrapping's intact, we're good. Some of these boxes were just stacked on top of each other. But now, yeah, everything behind me is like cage fresh mint. Like that's how I am now. So I put everything in acrylic. But my wife actually just got me a new shelf because I have 2 daughters, but we have a newborn baby. So when he starts crawling, we bought like this whole setup where it mounts into the wall, into the 2x4s, right? And then I'll be able to set the booster backs further back. And I just have to think of his safety now. So I have to kind of make things childproof. But this came with the house. I was very lucky. This was in the house. And I guess they didn't want to move it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So everyone asked me what it is. I have no idea, but it holds a lot of weight. It's a bookshelf. So that's why it holds so much weight. But it is doing a great job. I can tell you that.
Yeah, those hard acrylic cases. I mean, one of those clunking down from 5 feet overhead. That would not be good news.
No, not at all.
No.
Definitely have to childproof the room that well. Fat Billy's got a few that I'll take in a row. So if you had 1,000 loose packs of Crown Zenith, are you selling right now or holding for a few months then selling, or holding for 1 to 2 years? So I actually have about 3,000 loose Crown Zenith packs in the mail to me right now. I have a bunch of people out there in the field, boots on the ground, going to their Costco's, going to their Targets, going wherever, buying the products, breaking it down, selling them to me. So I'm always buying loose packs at 80%. I need them for the streams. Crown Zenith is very, very popular. So I can't have PK and Ponga tell the streams, no 151 for you, no Crown Zenith for you. No, like we would lose all of our following. We would not have happy people. So if they want Evolving, if they want 151, if they want Crown Zenith, I have to sell it. If they want Surging Sparks, I have to have it there. I have to have it ready for them. So I'm in this new spot in the past 6 weeks where I need to go out of my way to like make sure I'm sourcing enough to get what I want to hold for the longer term, and then also to get what the streams need on a nightly basis. So it is an interesting thing. So how I would answer this is I am trying to buy many, many months worth of backlog. And then I'm going to try to but it's hard to sit on them. It's hard to sit on them because I have that constant outflow. If I were someone out there, even though I want you to sell to me, I feel like in the next 6 months to a year, there's a decent shot that you'll be like, oh man, I sold 1,000 packs to Dan at $3.50 a piece. Now they're $5. Like now they're $6 a piece, and he's buying them for 4.5 or 5. But the big thing is, like, if you have 2,000 packs of Crown Zenith and you have nothing else and you have no cash flow to do anything else with it, it's reasonable to take the cash out from me so that you can go back to Costco in February, in March, when the 151 stocking. And like, so it all comes down to cash flow. It all comes down to your situation. If that capital is just tying up and hamstringing your ability to do anything else, like you almost need to sell if you want to do something, right? So it's all about cash flow. It's always all about cash flow and opportunity cost.
Yeah, I was going to, I don't know, but yeah, Crown Zenith is so popular. Just from like my eBay Live numbers, I've sold like the most amount of packs I've sold is 151. But then number 2 is it's so like I've sold like this year I've sold 800 5-pack lots of 151, 600 single packs of 151. Crown Zenith is 700 5-pack lots and 500 single packs. The next set after that is Paldean Fates with 500 5-pack lots and then 400 single packs. So like 151 is by far number 1, and then 151 and Crown Zenith are by far 1 and 2, and then the next set after that is a pretty decent ways down in terms of sales. So people love ripping 151, or I'm sorry, people love ripping Crown Zenith, and I don't think that's going to stop. And there's a lot of Crown Zenith packs out there, but the amount that's being ripped every single day, it's not going to last forever. And I think Crown Zenith is just such a good ending to Sword and Shield that it's going to do well long term. People are always going to want to rip Crown Zenith because it's such a fun set to open. You always get cool hits. So I would say hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Crown Zenith. I think it is such a solid set. I think if that was a booster box, that booster box would be, one of the best holds long term. But like even ETBs, Crown Zenith is one of my top sets, my favorite sets in Sword and Shield era. It was just it's such a good set. There's so many hits in it. It's really affordable. They printed the crap out of it. But the thing is, every streamer I talked to, like you said, that is a top set that they are ripping, right? It's up there. So I think I heard there's rumors that it's sold out on Sam's Club now. Like that's it.
I did hear that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I heard that from someone.
I know some people are still getting it like on the ground in stores. Maybe it's sold out online. It might be sold out at some, but maybe it's not coming back though too. I know I had someone yesterday at a Sam's Club buying them to sell to me. Like they're in the mail right now to me that they just got like yesterday or the day before.
But I think once this set is sold out, right? And then you have all the streamers buying it. I don't think we're that far from seeing that pack go up a couple dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, but I think it is a top tier set, and it's so stacked. Like I said, if that was a booster box, that thing, it's weird how like ETBs don't ever do as well as booster boxes unless they like look at PC 151, but it's 151. But yes, Crown Zenith, love it. I would hold it for a little bit.
Yeah, it all comes down though. Like say you go to Costco every week for your shopping trip, and you having those 1,000 packs of Crown Zenith doesn't allow you to just buy like guaranteed money. If you're leaving money on the table by having that money tied up there, that comes down to like, do you want to do the work though? Do you want to do the passive thing? Do you want to wait for the Crown Zenith packs to go up, which I think they will, or do you want to take the locked in profit and then roll it into more, and constantly be arbitraging on opportunities? But like, there's no perfect answer to that. It all depends on what your situation is.
Mm-hmm.
And Garen says Target Online has booster bundles of Crown Zenith. But yeah, I love that set. It's one of my favorite sets for sure to rip.
What has been your do you have the like that breakdown? What is your number one?
I don't have that breakdown. If I had to guess, it's probably Crown Zenith and 151. It's got to be. I am keeping track of what I'm sending to them in very like bulk terms. I'm estimating very roughly, but I'm glad you brought that back up because I was going to mention it to you. That would make a great 2024 in review. Like in January of 2025, please total up all those numbers. Maybe not in YouTube video form. Maybe bring it for PokeFlipz.
That's where you're going with it.
Well, I would love to, but I know you won't. I know you won't do it for me. I know you're not going to dust off that YouTube. But like do an Instagram post saying, hey, 2024 eBay Live OSP in review. I ripped exactly this many packs of this and this and that. Like that would be really cool data. That would be really cool data to see all in one post, all in one video, whatever.
Nobody does that. That
would actually be neat.
That's original.
As you were saying that, I made a note. I have a Google Doc that I keep of like future videos that I'm going to make. I made a note of I'm going to do that. So if you don't do it, I will do it. I might do it for like my 90-day live streaming review. Like, hey, here's what I sold, this much gross. I sold this many packs of this and that. I think it might be a little bit like eBay and Fanatics report in different ways. I think some things are cleaner about the way Fanatics reports stream by stream, but as far as like I think eBay wins the overall reporting in that respect. I don't think I'll have as quick of a way to grab all that, but I will look into it.
Like it doesn't document. I'm not too familiar with it, so it doesn't document like how many 151 packs you're selling. Like it won't say, all right, well, this is the quantity you sold of 151. This is the quantity you sold of Crown Zenith, etc. Right?
The way the dashboard works, eBay does work that way. You can go into the sales summary and you can do it by the whole year. But the way the sales summary works in Fanatics, it breaks everything by stream. I can see like last night, Ponga was live. He sold 2,655, but I have to click into each stream if I want to total up. Like I don't know that there's a way to see. Maybe there is. Maybe I can export it all at once.
So you'd have to go to every stream to see your numbers then. So you'd have to go to every.
I think I can. There might be a way that I can. There's probably a way I can export it all at once, but I'm not sure exactly. I haven't played around. I've had Fanatics going for like 6 weeks now, and I've not even had the time to sit down and play around with all the reporting as much as I'd want to. But I will be doing it in the future at some point. But hopefully I'll find a way to report those numbers for sure, because that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of questions coming in. I'm going to try to get some of the earlier ones. So Fat Belly's final question that I had from some time ago: are these echo chambers of the YouTube sphere making people FOMO? To some extent, yes. When people see the green lines and the rocket emojis, some people fall victim to like price goes up, I better buy it, I better FOMO before I get it. Even if and when people in the videos, if people are saying like don't FOMO, patient, breathe, it doesn't matter. Like human nature, people just always want what they can't have. People always want what everyone has right now, what everyone's talking about. People are not very patient as a whole unit, not like individual people are, but as a crowd, as a herd of people, very impatient, very much victim to the trends and stuff. So again, it's like the crypto thing to some extent. YouTube is making people FOMO more, but I don't think this is all artificial based solely off YouTube. I don't think you can attribute all the gains of everything, all the stonking, all the foam. It's not solely due to YouTube. Like, to some extent, people increase off of that, but it's one factor among many. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I would agree. It definitely does play a part, but it can't be. It's not sustainable. If it was only YouTube hype, it wouldn't be sustainable to keep these prices. It would be like a quick increase and then it would fall back down to normal. So there is definitely like organic demand keeping these prices continuing to increase and like remain where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, FOMO is such a real thing because I remember I was trying to sell like a Primal Clash box for like $400 when they were selling for $500, and no one wanted it. And then once I hit 1,000, I sold one for $900 instantly. It's like I just took it off because it's like everyone was offering me less than that. I'm like, I'd rather just hold it. And then, you know, it's like once there's a boom and everyone's talking about it, then it sells like that. And I see that happen all the time. So it's like, and it's not FOMO. It's just when it comes to Scarlet and Violet, we have no idea what the Pokemon company is doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we genuinely don't know. If we knew, we would tell you guys, right? But we have no idea.
Price goes up, so price goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And my opinion is always, it's fine not having everything. My name is KetchumAllCollectibles. Gotta catch 'em all is like the slogan of the franchise. You don't actually have to, though. It's actually impossible to. It's impossible to catch everything. It's impossible to have every card and every variant in a black label. Like, you're not going to get everything. You got to just come to terms with that. You need to have a set budget. You need to have a set amount of capital cash flow you'll allocate to this. Whether you're a business or a collector or investor, whatever you are, everyone's funds and time are limited, and you just have to pick and choose what you're going to go after, and you have to be fine. And this is like broader in life too. You can't have everything. You got to just optimize for your happiness, your sanity, your mental well-being. But it's hard, like being a collector, being a borderline hoarder in a lot of ways. Like you just gotta figure out how to navigate through it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm even FOMOing right now. Like, I think Paldean Fates is about to do something crazy, so I'm trying to get them, and I can't find them for the price point that I want to pay. But like, I'm FOMOing a little bit. I'm like, oh man, I gotta grab more of that, right? I mean, I do it too. It's not just you guys. Everybody does it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So here's a good question from Pokey Martin. So we have a lot of people out there who do the grade and flip plays. So if you believe Surging Spark singles are overpriced right now, how do you buy into grade, knowing they could come down by 50% the time you get them back from PSA? Spend more money, get them back quicker. That's partially like
right on
a higher value tier. The risk is higher though. The risk is higher. You need to factor that in. Like, as I just said, opportunity cost is everything. You need to look at the other plays that are available to you, and you need to make a decision on, is it worthwhile chasing these ones? Is it worthwhile going for the Paldean Fates Bubble Mew? Is it worthwhile going for the 151 Zard? As opposed to other things. Like that's just one component of your calculation. The risk, it might go up more, it might go down more. Attribute some certain percentage to that, and then go for it. One way to make it quicker, one way to expedite it, is to spend more at PSA, but that just dials up the risk further. If you get 8'd and you spent $75 to grade it, you get that 8 back a week quicker, but you're in rough shape no matter what the market's doing, right? So it's all that's what makes it. It wouldn't be like so profitable if there wasn't some amount of risk involved. Like I think in a lot of ways, it's still more profitable than it should be or will be long term with certain things. But that's part of why it is profitable.
Mm-hmm. And it's been so weird lately. Like in the past, when I was doing mass openings, you wanted to open stuff as quickly as possible, sell it as quickly as possible. Like the stuff that wasn't gradable, sell as quickly as possible, because pricing always came down. And lately, it's been like the opposite, where pricing starts out at the floor and then just goes up from there. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Because that happened with me with the Pikachu, the SIR Pikachu. When it came out, it was like $400. Mine was going to get a 9, so I sold it in the live stream. It went for right around $400, so I was happy about that. But look at it now; it's like, what is it? It's 600-700.
700? Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just so different than how it used to be, because like recently I bought the Greninja right when it came out, and I bought Moonlight, and I gave him $100 for it. Right, he pulled 4 of them, and I said, "Give me the cleanest one you have." So he sent it to me, and by the time he sent it to me, it's like $200. I send it to get it graded. It hits a 10. I end up selling the card for $700. That never happens. I just wanted the card to put it in my Scarlet Violet binder, and like the thing is, I was like, "Wow, this is perfect. It'll hit a 10." And then I saw the price, and by the time I got, but that doesn't happen this often. Like with the Pikachu, when it was going for 300, that was a great buy at 300. It looks like right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of happened with Lost Origin with the Tina. Like I remember my shop was like, "Oh, we'll take like 200 for it," and then that went up. It's just just take everything that you know from the past and throw it out, because it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we're in wild times.
I will say, have you guys what have you guys thought of the print quality on Surging Sparks? I thought it's been really, really good. Aside from like slightly off centering, I haven't noticed any whitening, no scratches, anything like that. It's been really, really good.
The best Scarlet and Violet QC I've seen so far.
Yeah, hopefully, I hope it continues for the sets moving forward. That would be nice.
Agreed. Yeah, I love it. Maybe they changed the blades. I don't know what they did, but like everything that I open looks fantastic right now.
Maybe that's why we haven't gotten reprints. They had to turn the whole line down. They had to go through and refurbish all the equipment.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Here we go. I'll let one of you guys start first. I've been hogging all the first past answers.
Ooh.
Chris Casey wants to know top 4 Scarlet and Violet sets, best, next best, etc.
Now, are we just saying Scarlet and Violet in general, including specialty sets?
I would imagine.
Okay, so I'm gonna go 151 is number 1. And then I'm actually gonna do Surging Sparks as number 2. Number 3 for me is going to be. Ooh, this is where it gets tough. I'm actually going to go. It's Obsidian Flames or Paldea Evolved. It would be like 3 and 4 for me. I think I would go Obsidian and then Paldea Evolved. That would be that. So 151, Surging Sparks, Obsidian, Paldea Evolved.
All right. I'm a little bit different. I think we lost Dan. I'm
still here.
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit different. I agree with the first 2. 151, Surging. I really enjoyed Twilight. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed Twilight. So I have Twilight at the 3, and 4 is going to come as a shocker to you guys too. Temporal at the 4.
Temporal's good.
People hated like the Paradox Pokemon, but like I didn't mind them. You have to think about like these kids. That's their Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, right? So
yep.
And you have not the Cobalt, the Stellar Crown, or not Stellar Crown. What is it? The one with the moon in the background. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. But the Iron Leaves, and then the other one, but Iron Crown. But you have you have so many beautiful cards in that set. So that's what it is for me. 151, Surging, Twilight, and Temporal.
My thing with Twilight is those stupid Orgpons.
Oh, but you have the pincer.
All those.
I know. I'm not a fan of those either, but I like the Eevee, the pincer, the Infernape. I love Greninja. I've always liked Greninja, right? Like XY. I loved XY, so I love Greninja. I enjoyed Twilight. I think it goes pretty deep.
Yeah.
And you had the Blood Moon Ursaluna too. And I think that's a nice card.
Yeah.
I know everyone loves Paldea Evolved because the Magic card. It's a stacked set. I have that at my number 5, but that's my order.
I'm gonna go Prismatic number 1 because new set, best set, obligatory.
You're trying to do an order of release date.
New set, best set. So Prismatic hype number 1, even without knowing what's in it. Master Balls number 1, easy. Surging Sparks just came out. Next best set. Gotta be. Seriously, I would put 151. And then, not even jokingly, I'm hyped for Prismatic. It's got a lot of evolutions. It's got Master Balls. Like I think it's gonna make the top 4 by the time it comes out. And then Surging, and I think I'd put Paldea and Face. I've got some in front of me. Maybe just because I just listed them on eBay, but
yeah,
these
they're beautiful.
cards are nice.
The Bubble
Beautiful
Mew is one of my favorite cards from this era. That Bubble Mew is fantastic. S tier.
So those
I
would be mine.
I like the Gardevoir the best.
That's nice.
Such a good card.
I bought a lot of both of them to do like the graded play on it, and then in hindsight, it performed really well. Like I did pretty well in the grades. I got a lot of PSA 10s, and they're selling out very quick though, like onto the upswing. Even aside from like I just lucked in. I didn't really speculate on the cards going up a ton. I did like the cards, and I thought there was a chance they could go up, but the amount they went up was absolutely crazy. Moderner the better, absolutely.
Moderner the better.
I only have so CGC I have in front of me. I did get a bunch of PSA ones though, Alex. Not just CGC. I did both.
No, that Pristine 10 looks way better than that Hospital Man PSA 10.
The Pristine 10s are nice. They are a thing of beauty. A couple questions I had starred that we already did. So we just talked about 151. Oh yeah, I wanted to show too. Alex said, "Can't believe you left out Paldea Evolve." That's where you said it would be your number 5. It would probably be. It wasn't in my top 4, but it would be one of the next ones for me as well. It would be very close to the top 4. I just had one I was gonna take. Which one was it? Okay, here we go. Chris Kaysen wants to know, wait for more 151 to come into the market or go ahead and buy 151 English and Japanese. I am constantly selling these to some extent, so I'm also constantly buying. I do not know if we will see 40 again. We saw 40 over the summer. That might have been our last shot. I don't really know. I do want to up fairly significantly my long-term holding. Like I want to have a big position that I just hold. I want to have constant streams going to the streamers to be sold. But right now, Retro's at 70. This could be the lowest number that it will go to. Like it could get gobbled up really quickly. It could go right back to 80 where it was. Nobody knows. Like I'll probably buy 50 at 70, and then I'll buy 50 more if it goes to 60. And if it ends up at 40, I'll buy 500 more or something. Like that's all you can do. I never like throw all my money at it at once. I just kind of nibble on the way down. And then when I think it feels like a bottom, because what I would do, like there is a possibility. I do not think this would be the case. Do not bet on it. I bet we won't see 40 again, but there could be a world where we see 30. Like these boxes could go to 30. Shiny Treasure right now is 30. Like there's a lot of sets actually in Japan at 30. Retail for these things is like 20 or 25 or whatever. It's low. It's really low. Or maybe wholesale. Wholesale is like 20. Retail is like 30-ish. Somewhere 30, in there. Yeah. But anyways, like I might buy 50 at 70 and then 50 more at 60. And then maybe I'll buy 100 at 50. And then maybe I'll buy a few hundred at 40. I will be ready if it goes to 30 to buy even more than I had bought at 40. Like I will always be ready. But you might just miss out. I might only buy 50 at 70. And then it might go up from here, never be reprinted again. I genuinely don't know. It's always easy. The YouTube videos will be made a year from now, 5 years from now. It was so obvious it was going to do XYZ. It's really never that obvious, especially with Japanese stuff. English stuff, maybe you can predict a little bit better, but you never really know. So I'm going to just navigate it the best way I know how. And I'm going to shoot my shot, and I'm going to document my journey on this channel. I've talked about this more and more lately. There are a lot of channels out there that pose as investors and pose as all these market experts talking about what happened and how obvious it was, but they don't have any skin in the game. Like we're actually, all of us are in this stuff. We're actually participating in it. We're putting our chips on the table the best we know how, and we're never going to time the perfect top. We're never going to time the perfect bottom, or maybe we will. There's so many sets we will accidentally do it or like just happen to do it from time to time. But be careful out there when you listen to people who only report on what's happened and pretend as if everything was like, oh yeah. It's like, well, how many boxes did you have? You knew it was going to triple. Okay, congrats on your 5,000 boxes. Oh, you only have one loose box in your underneath your bed or whatever. Like, what are we talking about? Be careful to pay attention to what people actually do versus what they say. I told you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit up retro. I'm going to buy a little bit since the price just went down, and I'm going to buy. I'm going to hope to load up before the bottom, but I don't know. What are you guys doing with? And that's just Japanese. English. I bought a few thousand loose packs this week. I'm going to buy a lot more loose packs in the coming weeks. If ETBs ever restock, I will take my fill allocation. I will wish it was bigger than it was because it won't be big enough, I'm sure, if it ever comes. But I would lean towards it not really coming, or if it does, it'll be quite small relative to what I would want. So yeah, I'll just gobble up all that, and I'll be buying loose packs the whole way at 80% of market.
Yeah, I would definitely say go in on the Japanese at some point soon-ish, with this reprint. And then English, I don't know. I might if you're like streaming wise, me, Dan, obviously you do have to have it now, so you got to buy it now. But if you're just looking to buy long term, this Costco thing coming out next year, if it's anything like the Crown Zenith one, you might want to wait. So I would say wait on English, buy Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, I already have a pretty big position in the Japanese. I'd like to buy it even cheaper than I bought last time. But right now, this little boom that we're in, I don't know if they're going to let it drop that low, right? Because a lot of people in their head, they're like, all right, this could be the third and final reprint of Japanese 151. So we might not get as lucky as we did with the last run, and they might not drop less than $70 a box unless it's such a huge print run. And then everyone starts focusing on prismatic, right? And they're like, oh, I'm not going to put my money into it. There's just so many different variables in this situation. But if it hits that $60 mark, that I'm going back in, and I'm probably going to go a little bit harder than I went last time. I just feel like it doesn't – very few sets, I say this. It doesn't matter. It's 151, right? So whether it's Japanese, English, it's 151. EV Heroes, I thought was crazy spending $100 a box. Yeah, like look at that thing. That's going insane right now. And then, I mean, I'd be shocked if we really don't get a reprint of 151 ETBs. I'd be so shocked. Like that's the reprint that everybody wants, right? But we still need reprints for the other sets. So I same thing. Wait for the Costco, right? If you don't need it right now, like these guys do, if you're not a streamer and you don't need it right now, just wait next year for the Costco. That's it. And it's not even that long. When we say next year, it's only a couple months. Yeah. Right. So if you don't need it right now, I would hold off and wait for a Costco. That's it.
You got a couple months to get fit, get ready to battle in the trenches with all the other.
Jeez, man.
It might end up on TikTok going viral. Thank you, Java, for the 10 gifted. We appreciate you. Chris Kaysen wants to know, I did see some theoretically an internal Target ad that's going to be $20 ETBs. I don't know if that's legitimate or not. $20. Sword and Shield era sets it was, I believe. So
wait, Sword and Shield, all ATVs are $20?
I forget where I saw it.
Astral and Silver.
Yeah, I saw on one of the
buy for $20. What is that? $8, 20 divided by 8? That's whoa.
$2.50 a pack.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that in a Discord somewhere. I'm not sure if it's legitimate or not, but if it is, like, those are a pretty good buy just to break down and have, like, the loose packs pay for that. Wow. Wholesale back in that era, I used to pay $23 per ETB, so that's like sub wholesale. That's a very good price.
Yeah, I was getting like cases for $2.50, and I thought that was like the cheapest. I said ETBs should not be this cheap, right? Like $2.50 for a case of ETBs is really low. That $20 ETB is insane. It's $200 ETB case.
Yeah.
Fat Belly wants to know Mike Tyson or Jake Paul. Is that this weekend?
That's
It's tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not a big boxing guy, but how old is
There's not even, you don't need to be a big boxing guy to know who's
Oh,
gonna
I mean,
win.
I would pick Mike Tyson, but
My heart
Yeah.
says Mike Tyson, but for some reason I think, dude, Jake Paul's like in his prime. You know, Mike Tyson's how old is he? 60 something?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Your body
he's getting
doesn't
up
work
there.
the way it does when you're 60. I don't care if you're Mike Tyson or not, right? Your stamina is not the same. I had pneumonia, and I'm still relatively young, and it's been 2 weeks. I can't even breathe right. So imagine like an older man, like your physicality is not the same. I don't know. My heart wants Mike Tyson to win, but I just have a feeling Jake Paul's going to win. The guy's 60 something.
Yeah, he's getting up there for sure.
Yeah.
He is.
That's why athletes retire in their 30s.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 40 is exceptional.
Yeah, unless you're
very,
Tom
very
1%.
low percent of people make it to Martin Brodeur or Tom
Yeah.
Brady. Like you have a handful of people in each sport that make it there. The exception.
Yeah, bro.
Pokemon DK wants to know, where do you procure your vintage cards? Do you have a steady flow of people selling you their collections every month? If so, where do they mainly come from? IG, Facebook, other. If you want to start, Nick. I've been hogging too many first answers again.
You did it again. Which Nick?
Oh, old school. Sorry. I did.
It's been getting a little bit trickier to buy collections. Like the super low end bulk stuff is constantly available. Like modern stuff, like we were talking about it earlier, like $10 to $30 singles is getting a little bit trickier to find. And then WotC for me has always been it's never been like a steady flow of WotC. It's always been you find collections here and there. But yeah, for me it's a lot on mainly on Facebook nowadays. It's been Facebook for a while for me. Just looking through the different Pokemon Facebook groups, Instagram, people reaching out. Whenever I don't have too much luck with my little buying Instagram stories, but every once in a while I'll get a few people to reach out about that. And then looking on eBay every now and then. eBay's been more. eBay used to be like a really, really good source for me. Now, like I said, it's mainly on Facebook. And then also just like local shows, trying to find more local shows. Went to a local card shop yesterday, was able to get some decent stuff there. So kind of a mixture of everything.
For me, I'm lucky because I get a lot of messages on Instagram. But my play back then is I used to like grading stuff, so I'd be able to buy like WotC era, EX era cards, right, for a fair price. But nowadays it's very different because people are like, oh, this is going to PSA 9, so I want $20 less than a PSA 9 price, right? It's not the raw card. Like that's what I've been having issues with. And then when you do find collections, they don't want 80% because now they have these guys that are willing to pay them 90%,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've been running into that. Like I don't want to give up too many plays, but I like to buy certain kind of 9s, right, that look really good. And sometimes I'm in the middle of this play right now. I found a beautiful base set Charizard, and it's a PSA 9, and it's a 7 cert, and it has the smallest spec on the bottom, right? And I'm going to crack it and see what happens. So that's kind of like what I'm starting to do more of is take 9s. Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of labels.
Yep. Hold on. I think I just cracked one. I think I have one right here.
Just from yesterday, I cracked a bunch.
Look, I just cracked one too. You know, PSA 9. But yeah, that's people. That's a good play in my book. You know, grab the 9. Sometimes I'll even, if I'm that confident, I'll pay a little bit more what a 9 price is. But eBay's not the same because you have so much competition, especially if it's getting bid for, right? you have to get lucky. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of connections in this hobby where like people are like, hey, I just want to get rid of this. I need cash right now. And then, we'll make a deal. But Instagram's probably where I'm getting the most of my stuff from right now.
Yeah.
So if you're selling anything, message me.
Being liquid and ready is big because a lot of people will have expenses come up and a lot of people are fairly strapped. So yeah, they'll just need a quick out. And I'm not saying like take advantage of that and completely beat them over the head on their collection. Luckily, like for the consumer, for the people looking to sell, there's a lot of people out there buying. Old School is buying for his streams. I'm buying for my streams. You got the big guys. You got the Vortex. You got all those different streams on
Goated Pole,
whatnot, and eBay and
super
Fanatics.
well. Yeah.
So there's tons of ways, places to sell. So feel free to shop them around. But yeah, my biggest thing, and this will tie in well with another question that just came in about social media. Are you generating an income from YouTube etc, or is it simply a means to an end, cheap marketing? So like in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been talking a bunch. I've been posting in Discord that I'm buying loose packs for streams. I've been talking about buying cheap singles, buying cheap slabs for streams. I've spent like $50,000 the past week. So me just talking on PokeFlipz 2 weeks ago about it, me talking about buying today, talking about buying in my weekly live stream videos, I get a lot of people to DM me, to message me, to email me, and I buy their collections at 70 to 85%, depending on what it is. So my direct money that I get from YouTube is like a couple $100 a month. I get like a couple $100 a month in a good month on ad revenue from like actual views and stuff and memberships and things like that. That's like tops, $200-300 maybe. But the indirect is where it all is. The indirect is I have my name, my face, my brand out there, and I'm able to do the consignments, and I'm able to have people to trust me to like, they're going to send me 1,000 packs of Crown Zenith up front, and I'm going to pay them with PayPal friends and family once they land. They're going to sell me. I've bought like 3,000 packs of 151 in the past couple of weeks. And that's where the value comes in. I get the hook up on buying a lot of stuff and then consigning and whatever else it may be. So the indirect is a bigger contributor to like payment wise from social media accounts for me at least.
Well, I have a question for both of you, right? Like even me like getting into this, right? And I've been in this for a little bit, but like, by you guys being in this hobby for so long, does that help you? Like dude, you guys were people I looked up to, right? Like, does that help you in this hobby at all? Like people are like, hey, I'm going to message Dan, I'm going to message Nick, and I'm going to say, hey, I have this, before I go into the open market. Like, do you find that you can, sometimes that helps you out by your name, by your reputation, right? Does that give you guys a little bit of an edge?
I would say so for sure.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah. And then there'll be times that someone comes to me because they follow me because I actually post YouTube videos, and I might send them to Nick. Nick doesn't post YouTube videos, so it might be something Nick Old School. I might send them to someone else. So like having the connections, I occasionally have people that get sent to me from other people like, oh, hey, I'm not really buying that at this time, but Dan just started live streaming and I heard Dan, and like having a network, having people that will feed people to you, like it definitely all benefits. It helps everyone out. So yeah, like having a bit, and by no means are we like major brands in the space. We're not like massive YouTube channels or anything, but it still helps. It still helps for sure.
Respectable OGs, right? Like Nick, yeah. I think this was a couple of years when I like Comic-Cons ago. I remember when California, when I met you, I think who was there? It was like Island Grown You. And I was like, dude, I was like excited to meet you. I was like, all right, it's been how many years I've been watching this dude. And now I finally get to meet him. Like stuff like that. Like if I'm respecting you, so many other people, respect you guys and look up to you. Right.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that really helped as well for like local shows in Massachusetts, being able to like know the crowd there, and people knowing that, okay, he does live streaming now, so he's interested in these types of cards. The next show I'll bring a whole stack of cards for him. So that really helped there. I'm hoping to build that up here in Chicago now that I'm out here. Because it definitely does help knowing that okay, he's interested, he's paying fair, it's going to be a quick, easy deal, all of that type of stuff.
And there's a lot to be said to just have a bird in the hand out. You've got an off ramp through Nick, you've got an off ramp through me at 70 to 85%. We're not going to screw you around. You're going to get a PayPal friends and family transfer. You're going to get a Zelle. You're going to get you're not going to deal with negative feedback. You're not going to deal with things getting you're going to have to ship it to us. So but when you ship to me, you add signature to it, it's fully insured on the way inbound to me. Like it's a no hassle, as close to no risk transaction as possible. And then selling at a convention is literally cash in hand. There's nothing that beats that. But that can only be done a handful of times a year.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm realizing is nice too, because a lot of times now people are like, oh, I have these boxes. And sometimes the price seems too good to be true. And they're like, no, I'll send it to you first. I'm like, these guys want to know where I live. So I send them my business address. Right. And that's how paranoid I am. And a lot of the times now these people, they just, they see the reputation, they see everything, and it makes it very easy because once I get that product, I literally sell you instantly. Right.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to build that trust. But I'm getting a lot of deals, so I can imagine what you guys are getting, right?
Yeah, right before we went live, I went to the post office right before lunch, and then I paid out on 3 collections that just came in the mail before we started this. So we did that one. Lord's Archive says, what's your opinion on Prismatic Evolution hype when it's basically Crown Zenith but Scarlet Violet version? So easy to hit. I think that's a good thing. And then having the Master Ball Chase layered onto it, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Is Prismatic going to have the same level of hits as Crown Zenith?
I don't think we know that, but I would assume so, just based off of having.
And I love the sound of that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That sounds like the best case scenario. Crown Zenith, but with Master Balls? Yes, please. So I feel very good about it.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine them making it as hard to pull an SIR as Surging Sparks is. Having that many, that would be so hard, so impossible to complete a set.
Yeah. So Pokemon DK says PSA versus CGC versus Beckett. In what order do you rate the 9 to 10 grades, including Pristine and Black Label? So I'll start. I'll try to be quick. Black Label, CGC Pristine, Black Gold Label, whatever you want to call it, Beckett Pristine Label, and then PSA 10, CGC 10, BGS 9.5 Gem Mint, and then PSA 9, BGS 9, CGC 9. I think I don't think I missed any there. No,
I think so. If you're talking, value wise, I would agree with Dan. Personally, for myself, what I like to do, just eliminate Beckett. Black Label's absolute trash.
Beckett's falling apart, huh? They are dropping in numbers. Beckett is really not doing well right now.
I do not like anything about Beckett. I can't stand them.
Oh my God, the first people I graded was with Beckett because of Leonhardt. That was the first people I've ever graded with was Beckett. And then, oh my goodness. But Beckett,
we were actually we were talking pre-stream, Old School and I got my grades 2 weeks ago on our last episode of PokeFlipz. I just looked. Yes, I am checking the tracker because I don't know what's going on.
They're the worst. They're the worst.
So the status says labels. I got my grades 2 weeks ago.
And it says labels now?
And it says labels. So I don't know if that means the cards labels. I don't know if that means they're printing the shipping label. But 2 weeks ago, I got my grades and I still don't have my cards in hand.
I paid the highest tier with Beckett, right? I didn't get any email that it was there. Right. And then I got an email before I had my grade that it was on my way. And here's the tracking. Right. So how's that even work that I didn't have the grade yet, but it said it was on my way back to me. And then later that day, I had the grades. I've never seen anything like that since I've been doing this. Beckett,
so strange. So strange.
They are such a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. The PSA, the CGC Pristine is doing super well. like super well.
Yeah, I personally really like the Pristines. I just posted on Instagram my Pristine Dragonite Game Boy promo. Absolutely love that card. I do genuinely like those. And
Busy man.
It doesn't stop.
Mr. Popular over there.
I had like 3 calls. Excuse me for like 1 minute. I just gotta.
You're good.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Take care of us.
I genuinely do like the Pristines, and the Pristines do well on the lives. People tend to like the Pristines, which is how do the Pristines do on your lives? Because I'm wondering, because like I do love CGC Pristines, and so I talk them up. So I'm wondering if that plays into why people also like Pristines in my lives.
So Fanatics is primarily like a sports platform. My first wave of CGC cards that I sent to PK and Panga were like very cheap, sub $3 Japanese singles. They were like art rares and things like that. So they were hit cards, but they were like 50 cent to $3 cards in plastic in 9, 10, and pristine grades.
Mm-hmm.
Hit or miss, overall less than I would have hoped or expected. But it's not that surprising when you think about the fact that the people that are in there are largely sports card collectors. They don't even like, they're not even as familiar with CGC. Like in the sports world, CGC is the trading card side of it. CSG is the sports card, I believe. So not surprisingly, they've done less than I would have expected. One of my 2 streamers, PK, people who know PK, he's very anti-CGC. So that could be some component of it as well. Anyone from PK's following that goes into his stream and sees him auctioning a CGC card, it's like, it's not that surprising that it didn't get too high. But yeah, I don't know. I've definitely been trying to target more PSA cards, PSA 9s and 10s. So hey, a little self plug. If you've got sub $50 cards, if you sell a $40 PSA 10 on your own eBay, you're gonna pay 12% fees, and then you're gonna pay $5 to ship it. Box them up, ship them all to me. I'll pay you 80% on your PSA 9s and 10s of sub $50 cards. And you'll get PayPal, friends and family. You'll get Zelle. There will be no government documents generated for that transaction. Do with that what you will. But yeah, when you look at like, it's a 12% fee to sell a $50 card on eBay. That's $6. $5. It's an additional 10% just to ship it, right? So it's like a 25% fee. You're getting 75%, and you're waiting to get 75%. I'll give you 80% now. And if it's a $20 PSA 9. That's a 25% fee to ship it. $5 on 20 is 25%.
Yeah.
You're getting like 60% waiting for your buy it now to sell. So sell them to me, sell them to Nick, sell them to some other streamer. It is a reasonable way out of a lot of those lower end slabs.
I used to hate CGC. I'm going to be honest. I really hated CGC. I was like, this is trash. And then like these new Pristines, and I see how they're doing. Like you can't hate on it anymore. And then, I mean, they're way more transparent. They're fast, right? I mean, sometimes PSA can be really fast, right? Like PSA is great too. I love PSA. Don't get me wrong. PSA is probably my favorite, but it's just a shame on how bad Beckett has become, right? Like the black labels, yes, they're always going to hold fantastic value, right? And add a lot to a card. But Beckett they have to do something new to spice it up or make their communication way better. Something. I don't know. Because if you ever have an issue with PSA, I could message 3 people on Instagram instantly, right? I don't know.
So here's one that came in a while ago. I'll take it now because somebody just mentioned it in chat too. So Canada Post went on strike today, and now Canadians have literally 0 options for any shipping under $15. Wow. Do you think consignment services will flood? So what I just said about shipping costing like $5, apparently for Canadians, they can't ship stuff for under $15. That's wild. That would make it impossible to sell a $40 card, right? If you're going to have to spend $20 to ship it. So yeah, all you Canadians, I pay out in CAD. I pay out in USDC. I don't know if there's a Canadian equivalent cryptocurrency, but bring them all in. Bring them all here. 80%. I got you. But yeah, that I don't know how long term that strike will be. A lot of times those things find a way of getting resolved. weeks, months. I don't know how long, but that's unfortunate for people in Canada. Another hurdle to have to go over. I think we have it great in America. I hear about all these VATs and all these different things, though. I get not to get political. I don't know how any of these looming tariffs may or may not interact with the hobby. I know I've seen that question floating around a bunch.
I see that all the time right now. I don't know.
And I genuinely have no idea to the answer to that question either. But love it. Dan's ready. Mitch McCann wants to know, would you buy a case of Temporal at $700?
Yeah.
Generally, for a set like that, I pay like 85% on sealed cases of sets. Like, I don't know what it's.
I want to see what it's going for right now. That's what I'm looking at.
So
I like
market price on TCG.
I'm biased. I love Temporal. I have a lot of Temporal, like a lot.
So last sold on TCG Player $730. So it's a little bit under.
A little bit under.
I like if someone reached out to me today with a case of Temporal, I would probably offer 85% on it. So I would do 85% of $730. I would buy it for like $620. But $700, like if you're buying it anyways, and it's $40 cheaper than TCG Player, I'd check eBay as well. I'd check Hills Wholesale Gaming. I'd check around, but like that might be the cheapest on the market to just buy now. It feels reasonable. It doesn't feel like a screaming buy, like you have to get it. You can't really buy it for that and then instantly arbitrage it, sell it into the market, is what I would say.
Just try to, if you don't have the means, I understand, but try to buy it early, guys, because I'll give you my plug. For Moonlight, I was buying cases of Temporal for $520, right? And then Noah had them for even cheaper than that, for like $490 a case. Just buy it when no one wants it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Paradox is a nice spot to put your money. You can buy them still for around $570-ish. Like, that's not a bad buy in my opinion. And Paradox has that. I think that Roaring Moon card is beautiful. Like, just buy it when no one's looking at it. That's my. If you like it, right, and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna enjoy this set," that's the time to buy it.
Okay, so on our channel, we have a bit of a meme ongoing question. Sometimes we forget to ask it. So when you're at the grocery store, you go shopping, you load all your groceries from the cart into the car. The cart corral is like 10 spaces away.
I always put it away every time.
Good man. Good man.
Every time. I don't care if it's the winter and it's snowing. I put that cart back. Every time.
Duty. It's your duty as a like moral, honorable.
It's common courtesy for the guy that works there. I mean, even Home Depot with those stupid big things. When I go to Home Depot, I wheel that thing on the opposite side, and I'm like, this is gonna suck. But I do it every time.
It's the true litmus test of someone's character. And Nick Pokeplumber has passed that test, and Nick Old School Pokemon, as we know, has failed that test because he's a monster who does not return his shopping carts.
Hey, I will say now that I'm in Chicago and there's like the parking lots are so much smaller and there's so many more cars, I do return it now.
Yeah. Nick's heard all those stats on the gun violence in Chicago, so now he returns his cards. Oh man. So in Boston, he wasn't afraid to not return his cards, but you know he's heard a couple stories. He's heard some sirens.
And there's a little empty spot right next to me. You just chuck it, let it land where it lands.
I actually just the other day, probably 2 weeks ago now that I think about it, I was servicing, but both our vehicles were due for an oil change, so I took them over to my dad's and I did both the oil changes. I had my Kia Sportage up on the lift and I was looking at it. The light caught it just right. Next time I go grocery shopping, I need to get a cart alongside it to check. Right at about the height of a grocery cart, there's a ding in my car. I'm 90% sure it's from a shopping cart. It doesn't look like a door. It went through the paint too. It slightly indented the car. It would be over $1,000. I'm not going to repair it because I'm going to drive this car for 10 years. Like I'm just going to leave it. I've got kids. The kids are going to end up like opening it into
people don't care. They just let it like the wind blow it and it smashes into. And I'm that guy that when I'm walking and I see it blowing to someone else's car, I will go and I will get it.
Oh yeah, I've definitely, if I'm on my way in and I see like a stranded cart somewhere, I'll park next to it so that I can take that one in and shop with it.
Yeah.
But old school Pokemon though, he's a monster until he moved to Chicago, until the stakes raised and he worried for his health. So he only does it out of self-defense now. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, we've intended for that to be like our thing that we ask on every episode. We've asked most people, but sometimes we forget.
What's the usual answer?
Oh, almost everyone's a good person. Just only old school Pokemon's a bad person. Have we ever had anyone that said that they leave them out as well? I feel like some people in chat will say that, but I don't know that we've had a guest on that's admitted to leaving them out.
Yeah, good people.
I don't know if anyone will admit it. I feel like we got to ask these questions in private, and then we'll get the real answer.
No, I feel like if they're that savage that they won't put it away, they'll tell you. They live life on the edge.
Shout out to Cart Narcs. That is a hilarious Instagram
account. Made me start putting my cart away.
It's so funny. It's so funny. He'll do that like siren noise that he does with his voice, and then he'll go over, he'll throw a magnet on their car. They get so pissed. Oh man, some of those are hilarious.
It's the best.
Oh, so funny. Oh, does he not do them anymore? I know he had like a gun pulled on him once. Maybe he stopped, but I know that I still see. I feel like I still see him in my Instagram because I follow him on Instagram. I think I still see their stories come through sometimes. I thought, but maybe that's I think they might still do them. I'll have to double check that. But I'm pretty sure they're still posting Instagram stories periodically. A couple long comments I'm trying to get through. Dan, can you tell people short term, packs or packs, ETB or booster box, or anything else? When the booster box moves, the rest probably too.
Yeah, they're still there. They posted 3 days ago.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they post still relatively regularly. But there was one time where I don't think the guy pulled out the gun and pointed it at him, but I think the guy might have like pointed at his waistband. I think he like showed that he had one. And maybe he took a couple weeks off after that.
Yeah,
but maybe Nick ran into a similar situation in Chicago, and that got him putting his cards back. Oh God. But I actually, so for my streamers, I created like a Google spreadsheet where I pull in the pack prices from TCG Player, and I also pull in the box prices from TCG Player. Most boxes do hold like a little bit of a premium over the, like some substantial. Like look at Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies right now is $17 a pack, and it's $8.65 for a box, which works out to $24 per pack. So like I have a little thing like right now, it makes sense to rip a Paradox Rift booster box for packs, because at least the way that I show it, because it's $2.95 per pack by the box, and loose packs are $3.07. So like, but that's the exception though. Like most sets, the boxes are more than 36 loose packs.
Yeah.
There are some times where they'll separate by like a fair amount. But overall, like as a streamer, the pack is, or as someone who has streamers, the packs are what is the commodity. The packs are what I want. So I just want the packs in the cheapest way possible. One thing I've been noticing more and more over the past week or two is the amount of people that will reach out to me and they'll have like all these oddball collection boxes and they'll want to get like, maybe there will be a slate premium on them, but I'm like, I don't want loose random oddball collection boxes. I want sealed cases of booster boxes.
60% on those.
Yeah, like I will pay 80% of loose pack value. So if there's any premium there, I'm not going to pay it. I will pay of the loose pack value. That's it. But I want sealed ETB cases. I want sealed booster box cases. And then I want loose packs. That's all I want. I don't want any random oddball. I don't want PC ETBs. Like the premiums are there for them, but I'm not going to pay them because to me, like they don't do anything. I like me personally. So yeah, I do buy a lot of different things at 70 to 85%, but I don't universally buy everything. I am a little picky choosy. I've had multiple people send me lists of like 40 grand worth of product, but it's all onesie, twosie, oddball, this, that, the other thing. And I say like, I'll pay you 60% or I'll just pass. So it definitely does matter to an extent. Usually if you want to get premium pricing, and every time I do a video where I say that I'm paying 70 to 85%, I get a couple people in the comments that are like, why would you sell it to this guy for this? Like, absolutely. If you want to get every last penny out of your transaction, go sell it yourself on TCG Player. Go sell it yourself on eBay. Get that 1099. Pay all those shipping fees yourself. Like, find out what it amounts to at the end of the day. Like, it's not going to be what you think it is.
When you sell,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Then pay your taxes on it. Wait until people start paying taxes, right? Like,
and especially the low end slabs. Like, the low end slabs are the big one because, okay, I'm going to pay you only 70% maybe on certain $25, let's say a $30 slab for easy math. I might only pay you 70%. That's $21. Sell a $30 slab. Say the eBay fee is 10%. It's 12, but let's round down. 30 goes to 27. Now you ship it. You're at 22. Now you get a 1099. Now you got to do all like 21 cash in hand, no fuss, no hassle. Out the door, I'll buy hundreds of thousands of slabs at a time. There's value in that. And the biggest thing too, like when people come into the comments and say like, oh, why would you ever do that? This guy's trying to scam people. I'm not forcing anyone to sell to me. You send me an email, I send you an offer, take it or don't take it. Like, hit me up, hit Nick up, hit up a few people. Like, you don't have to sell it ever. I never do any pressure. It's like, hey, let me sleep on it. Let me think on it over the weekend. Absolutely. If you come back, if something changes, my price might go down. I don't do the whole like, I'll offer 5,000 today, but if you don't take it instantly, it's 4,900 tomorrow. And then I don't do that stuff. I'm like, yes, I'll still buy it next week, sleep on it. Like, I don't do any. The only thing is, like, the only thing I say sometimes, like, say they have 50 of a given card and one's actively up for auction. It's like, if that auction performs poorly, or if new comps come in, that changes the equations. Like, I will adjust my prices. They might go up, they might go down, but like, I'm not going to just completely, I'm not going to make you an offer and then have that last for the next year. And then if the card drops 50%, I'm still going to pay what I offered a year ago, right? Like, at some point, the deals do have an expiration, but I don't get into the whole, like, you need to take it immediately or it's gone or this or that. It's like, I'll throw you an offer. I'll pay you a percentage of recent sales. And there's some people I have that sell to me once and they don't sell again, whether they found someone else to sell to at a higher rate and then I have some people that they're sending stuff to me every month, every week. They're regular sellers to me. So yeah, people get very offended when you don't want their collections at their prices. Absolutely. I've seen that from time to time for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they think you're like robbing them and like, I'll never deal with that person again. And then the best part is when they like talk crap to you and then they humble themselves and they're like, hey, so like, would you still pay that amount? You know, like I've had that happen.
Oh, I do get people coming around a week or two later. Yep.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, at the end of the day, like, people think they sell to you and then you're paying them like everything. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to make money too. And I ran into that where people don't understand that concept, right? And then like when I sell it, I'm going to have to pay taxes on it. So like, I don't know. I run into that a good amount.
And Lord's Archive says, I can understand 70 to 85% on less desired items. I just don't understand offering to pay 70 to 85 on everything because it never works out the other way around if you want to buy from them. Big thing I say too, like say you've got higher end stuff. I say, so sometimes I'll say I'll pay 80%, but I'll consign it for you for 95%. Like I do offer consignments as well. If individual items sell for over 2,400, a lot of times I won't even offer. I'll just say like, I'd only offer you 80%. Just consign with me. Within a few weeks, we'll auction it. You'll get 95% of the net payout on that. So a lot of times I don't even compete with myself trying to buy in space of just consigning.
But people want the money now too. Like I realize that like they don't want to consign. They just want all that money right now.
And that I've had situations where someone's got like a Mario Pikachu and it's like, hey, 3 of these have sold in the past 3 months at $6,000 a piece. I will offer you $4,800 or you can wait 3 weeks and I can't guarantee it. You can never guarantee what an auction will do, but I will likely be able to net to you in 3 weeks, $5,700, 95%. And then they'll take the $4,800 because they need the money. Like it's like I've tried talking people in to consigning it because I would rather not tie up the cash flow. I'll just take, and then, yeah, like that's just a reality. Sometimes people, whatever their situation is, whether they need the money quickly or they just want out of it, it is what it is. Like I make an offer and people don't have to take it. It's like when people get offended at list prices of things. It's like, it's an option. If you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, then buy. Like buy or buy.
Yeah,
B-U-Y or
exactly.
B-Y-E.
Buy or buy. Get that shirt made. Buy or buy.
Yeah, like sell or don't sell. Like you don't have to sell to me for 70 to 85%. I think when you actually think about it all, take the emotions out of it, when you really look through what that is, a zero risk transaction, fully insured on the way in like paid out same day, Zelle friends and like there's a lot of value to that. Some people can't bring themselves to like understanding it, and that's fine. Like I'm not trying to convince them, but it is really reasonable when you work through everything logistically how that works out.
Mm-hmm.
I have an offer for that. Okay, then sell to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's certain times, as I said earlier, there's certain times where someone comes to me and I'm like, I'm not really after that. My streams don't really do that well with that. I think Rusty might buy that, or I think Nick might buy that. I think like I will try to forward people. I will try to help people. If I think someone will pay more, someone will be better for them, I try to push them along to them. Pokemartin says, are you guys bearish on Collecticon since everyone is just selling on live streams now? I am extremely bullish on Collecticons. They just went to 18 locations for 2025.
New Jersey, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, they just added. They added Fort Lauderdale. They added Cleveland. They doubled up on Jersey. They doubled up on Chicago. They are doing so many locations. They are doing like some of the earlier ones. They were doing 50 sections, 60 sections. They're doing like 70, 80, 90, 100 sections. 1,000 tables, selling them out in hours. Like I am so bullish in our little sphere, in our little bubble. Like I know Alex made a video on his vending experience and kind of questioned whether it's worth it or not.
It's worth it
in our little space. I've vended a few times, Nick's vended a few times, and we don't vend anymore. But we're like just a couple small participants in the total hobby, right? Like these. Don't let our little bubble, our little sphere in this section of Poke YouTube sway you into thinking that like vending's not a thing, or like Collecticon just added 50% more locations, and I'm quite confident they're all going to sell out quite quickly. So yeah, 100%. That's my take on it. Like you can listen to all the talk and you can see what a couple individual people are doing, or you can look at the industry as a whole, the hobby as a whole, and see the fact that like Card Party just doubled. They were doing one a year. They're doing 2 next year. Collecticon just went up 40 or 50% on individual dates for next year. You've got Front Row Card Show, Best Flipping Card Show. You've got all like TCG Legends Expo or whatever it's called. There's tons of these things popping up. So I'm bullish on conventions.
Yeah, there's a lot. And if I can give any advice for Collecticon, like if you've never done one, sometimes like people will go to California and be like, it cost me this much for my plane ticket, this much for my hotel. In New Jersey, right, it was great for me because I was able to drive there, right? And then when I sold out of everything, I went back home that night and I grabbed more and I brought it back with me. And then I sold half of that. So if it's local to you, you won't have the overhead as if you're traveling to California, right? Or traveling to Texas. Like there's other ways to like go around it. You don't have to do every show, but you could also see how it is near you and try that. And you won't have the amount of overhead, which is beautiful. Like I had my own cases, I had my own shelves. So New Jersey was just perfect for me, right? Because I know that's like the big argument is like, well, I spent $2,000 because I had to go with 2 people and then this. And then you have the people with the teams and they had to pay this. And then they had to ship all their product, right? Like it's nice that the Collecticon's doing that because people local to that area, now they have, 2 chances or they can drive, a little further, spend $100 in gas. So I don't know. I'm excited. It's all great stuff for the hobby too. The more shows,
100%
shows you how many people are going to these things. Like that's what's beautiful for me, right? You see the streaming, you see how packed these shows are. In New Jersey, they have New Jersey TCG, NJTCG. They have Long Island coming up this weekend. There's a show almost every weekend in New Jersey, and they're always packed. It just shows you how the hobby's thriving right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove to New Jersey this year. Next year I'm contemplating driving to Cleveland. Just because it's like it does cut down on your expenses a lot. But I always make, to me, it's two things. And now that I have the live streaming going, I don't anticipate I'll vend any of them in 2025, but I still plan to go to 3 or 4 of them. I plan to go to 3 or 4. I plan to bring some slabs. I plan to like consign with someone there, put some slabs in their case, sell some, subsidize their trip. But they're a blast. They're a blast. There's something to be said about having a couple cash sales throughout the year. They're nice for different reasons. I know, Nick, you're a plumber. Alex used to have a lawn care business. 1-to-1. So 2 jobs, identical jobs. One is $10,000 paid in $101 bills, and one is $10,000 paid with a MasterCard swipe. You value one, even let's say it's $10,300. Let's say it covers the fees of the MasterCard swipe. You prefer one over the other. You prefer one over the other.
Yeah.
For reasons we won't get into. But yeah, so there's something to be said for, and then they're just a blast. They're an absolute awesome time. If you can get to one, and maybe no Collecticons are close to you, look at all the different ones. Maybe Card Party is close. Maybe you're up in Seattle area and Card Party will be close to you. Maybe you have one of the different ones. Like there's so many out there.
But the
Collecticon is just...
The networking is so huge, and people don't understand that, because like now you're networking, you're meeting all these people, and then you're branching off of that, and then now you dealt with someone big, and now they trust you, and like it's like the spider web effect, right? The web effect, and then even though you didn't, let's say the first Collecticon you didn't hit your numbers, but now you meet all these connections, and now you're tripling your audience just like that. Then you're tripling your profit just like that. Right, like the connections I've made have been from these kind of shows, and it's awesome.
Yep, yeah, I've met a lot of great people at shows. Always a blast. Lucky Bunny, this one came in a while ago. Would you guys be opposed to the future of having too many variations of rarity? Master Ball Hollows, Alt Art, serialized cards, or Poke Pocket exclusives one day? Just spitballing other ones. I personally, for one, I think on a long enough timeline, serialized Pokemon cards are inevitable. Maybe
that would be that would be insane.
It might be decades away. But I think if I live 50 years, I think Pokemon will outlive me. I think before I die, I will see Pokemon serialized cards. I could be wrong, but sports went to it because it was needed. Sports went to it because it was needed. Maybe it will never be needed in Pokemon, but 50 years is a long effing time. 50 years is a long time.
A one-of-one Charizard? Imagine a one-of-one Charizard. Dude, you think the 151 thing at Costco was bad? Oh, my God.
It would be wild. But Pokemon already does serialized stuff. They have different figures on their website that are limited to 1,000 and serialized.
Yeah.
I have a Master Ball right there. Those are serialized to 5,000. They've got the fossil watches that were serialized. The Bear Walker skateboards are limited to 250 or 1,000. Those actually come with, it's not a TCG card, but those come with a 2.5 by 3.5 inch rectangle that's made out of cardstock that has Pokemon on them that is numbered to 1,000. So Pokemon already has serialized cardboard rectangles that are just not in the TCG. I think long term, but I don't think it's happening tomorrow. I don't think it's happening next year. I don't think it's happening this decade. I think Pokemon is so hot. I don't think they need to go to it. It would be a risk. A lot of people would do the whole think of the children. I'm a master set collector. I have to collect one of everything. Now I can't collect one of everything. You ruined my hobby, Pokemon, with your capitalistic greed. All that stuff would come. But what else would come with it? Obscene levels of degeneracy, chasing that stuff. 7-figure sales would come. 6, 7, 8-figure sales maybe. You like
right off the bat. You pull a Charizard, serialized Charizard, $1 million card right off the bat.
If during I don't know what would have been the hottest weekend to do it, but if they had made a 1-of-1 Moonbreon and it got listed on Alt or Fanatics or Heritage or Golden at the perfect timing, maybe not 8 figures. There would have been multi 7-figure sales. There would have been cards going for more than $2 million. I'm quite confident in the environment that we are in, have been in over the past 2 years. If you had timed the perfect 1-of-1 card for the perfect auction block, there would have already been a multi-million-dollar sale.
Imagine if this set had the 1-of-1 Pikachu and it was like that, but better, and it popped, and it was and this set's already going crazy.
Yeah, it's already going crazy.
Yeah, the box would be $1,000 right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Because look at sports. There are like
Look at Magic,
aluminum
the ring.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, the one of one ring went for $2 million or whatever it was. The sports world already has it. They went to it by necessity coming out of the junk wax era with all the overprinting in the 90s and stuff, and it saved them. They wouldn't be likely wouldn't be around to the extent they are. And there are like in Pokemon, we think $200 for a box is expensive. We think $1,000 box is expensive. Like these exquisite national treasure, all these different at like launch MSRP of these things is thousands of dollars, and you get like 5 cards. And it's a little like aluminum suitcase. Anyone that watched like Ken Golden was opening them with Post Malone and with Drake and with all these different people like chasing these. It's insane the levels of gambling that go on in sports. And I truly think at some point Pokemon will have a dip. I think it will wane to some extent. And I think they'll need to do something to reinvigorate, to like drive hype back. And someday in the next 50 years, Serialized is coming. Maybe it'll be like Topps Chrome. Maybe they'll re-collaborate with Topps. Maybe it'll be non-TCG. But that already to an extent exists with Bear Walker. So, but my bet is on long-term. Not anytime too soon, though, because it's too hot right now. It's too much of a risk. It's too hot. There's no need to. But it's their ace in the hole. It's in their back pocket, ready for whenever they need it.
Watch go with Team Rocket set a 1/1 Giovanni.
Oh God, no! We don't want it anytime soon. We don't.
And I would think before they did that, even imagine a 1/1000. Even
that's
like
still insane too. That's still
Moonbreon is a $2,000 card nearly, and there's 13,000 PSA 10s. What would a 1/1000 go for? If a one of
10 grand,
like, given that 13,000 are graded, there's probably 100,000 Moonbreons. Because 13,000 are graded at PSA, there's tons still sealed in boxes and in packs. There's probably at least 100,000 Moonbreons total printed. So if there's 100,000 and there's 13,000 PSA 10s and the PSA 10 goes for $2,000, a 1/1000 I think would go for more than $2,000. That thing might go for
10.
I can't even imagine. So imagine if they had a 1/1000 and then a 1/100 and then a 1/1. I don't know if they'd get to that. They probably wouldn't go to that right out of the gate. But even one of 1,000s would be insane. That would be potentially 100 times more rare.
My sealed collection would be done.
Yeah.
You'd see rappers freaking the Pokemon room would be to the ceiling.
It would be insane. And honestly, like I'm not excited for it in that I think for them to get there, for them to take that shot,
it's gonna have to go really bad.
They'd have to have hard times. So I'm not saying I'm excited for it from that perspective, but another part of me is also like excited for that time that I think is inevitable. I'm excited.
I told my wife I'm gonna be hopefully 100 years old and I'm gonna be in my bed with a pack ripping it.
Like I'm a degen. The foundation of the hobby is randomness, is gambling functionally. So if you make it so the chase is like that much higher, like as if 1 in 1,000 packs isn't a high enough chase. Imagine a serialized being 1 in 100,000 packs, and then it's worth $10,000, $100,000. Like someday,
wild.
Someday, I think.
Whatnot, the packs would be going for just a pack would be like freaking $4,000. It'd be insane.
Oh yeah.
It would be insane.
And then you'd have the videos of someone pulling the 1/1000 serialized number 1 of 1,000 Moonbreon, and then it comes off camera. And
the camera's just gonna go like that.
Yeah. The prevalence of those videos will go up, I think.
Oh man.
But bullish on the drama videos if serialized comes.
Yeah.
Bullish on the drama videos.
But yeah, that's exciting to think about. I think some people are like, that's the last thing I want. We don't need that. But in a way, though, I think the serialized Moonbreon would be up here. I think it would make the normal Moonbreon a little more accessible. Like in this alternate reality where a 1/1000 existed, that might be $5,000 in a PSA 10. I think it would dampen the price a little bit of the other one. Maybe that would only be $1,500 now. Maybe that would only be $1,000 now, because like the people that want the real chase would be going for the big dog. And then maybe the other one would lag behind a little bit and be a little bit more achievable. Like that's a theory. I don't know though.
Yeah, but in this market right now, I can't believe I even think like this, but like in this market for these next 6 months, whatever it's going to be, it's like just anything Pokemon. If Darkness Ablaze could be what it is right now, it's just like anything. Like you can't even recommend it. It's not a great. I mean, dude, do you remember? All right, you guys probably remember this. Do you remember Black Friday when Crimson Invasion hit like $60?
Yes, I do remember that.
I definitely remember it being $69.99, like on eBay too.
Yes.
So on other sites, it was definitely better. Yeah.
So if Crimson Invasion can be a $200 and something box, it doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. And like I said, I don't expect it to come anytime soon because right now, as if Pokemon needs more help moving product. Like they need more help. They need more printers.
Yeah. They need to print it.
The last thing they would want to do is like to make. They will use that as an ace in the hole to save it. They will not use that when it's already we're on Jupiter. but imagine like in the game there was only one Master Ball. Like put a Master Ball in the Rocket set. One Master Ball in the entire, like a 1-of-1 Master Ball, like the One Ring Pokemon has, like it fits in with the lore, it fits in with all that, and you could do that. Well, every legendary in all the games, there was only one, right? You caught the one Mewtwo in Cerulean Cave, you caught the one Zapdos at the power plant.
Music in that,
like
amazing.
It fits so well with lore that there would be a legendary chase or a Master Ball in every awesome.
That would be awesome. I'm with you.
So PokeChef wants to know, question for PokeFlipz, semi-knowing where I'm at in the stream game. Besides pack rips, what do you think my biggest opportunity is for the next step? This one's probably for you, Old School.
Oh boy, biggest opportunity for the next step. Well, I like how we were talking about this earlier. I like how you're going more nights now. Starting at an earlier time. That was really big, I think. Competing with other, like the Poke Nights, I really like that idea. So those you're doing right. I think I didn't catch your Sunday stream last week. Was it last week? It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. But I'm assuming you ran a bunch of high-end or like higher-end cards on Sunday night because there were a lot of people talking about it on Monday, how good that stream was. So I would say starting to incorporate those types of nights. Like instead of doing your normal stream, have like a premiere night stream where you start running better and better cards. Advertise it on Instagram. Like Instagram posts, Instagram stories, talk about it in your lives, build up the hype for it. That's what I did when I was starting out. I would run cheap cards during the week and then do a little bit better stuff on the weekends. And then like once a month, I would have like a premiere Saturday night stream where it would be a lot of better cards. And people get excited for those types of streams, and they look forward to it. They like being in there to see what cards are going to be run, what the pricing's going to be, all that type of stuff. And it's stuff that people remember and they talk about, like your whatever Sunday that was. I think it was last Sunday. They were talking about that stream on Monday in my stream. So obviously you did something like that, and people remembered it. So I would say that as one of the big ones. Plus, it's a lot of fun to do that. I thoroughly enjoy those types of streams where I do like the higher end cards. I have a lot of fun with those streams as well. But overall, I think you're doing really, really well. You have a decent bit of inventory. Curious to see how you'll like pack ripping. But yeah, no, I would say like the more premiere type of streams every once in a while. And you don't have to do it super often. Once a month, once every other month. It doesn't have to be every week or every night or whatever.
Yeah, and I would think like having a theme. Maybe I'm not the one streaming myself. It's PK and Ponga. I did the one launch stream and I just chucked everything. So I did like a big kickoff. Got a lot of that did really well because we pumped it all week. We pumped it for a couple of weeks, and so whenever you can make an event of it. Maybe make a theme too. Make a theme when the Rocket set comes out. If you can have a little bit of Team Rocket, if you can have a little bit of EX, Team Rocket Return, reverse hollows, whatever it may be. We got the PokePlumber baby.
The Poke Baby, my wife calls him.
The Poke Baby.
But yeah, like having a theme, trying to make it more of an event-like feel. You can't do that every day for sure, but whenever you can do that, promote it for a week, get it blasting on the socials, get people a reason to like be hyped about having a big theme. Are you still good? We just finished our final question in the backlog. I don't know if you need to wrap really soon.
No, I'm good. He's gonna just hang out. He's a good boy.
Okay.
He just hangs out.
Okay. We probably will go for like another 30 minutes then, if everyone's feeling good. If we get more questions coming, we're at the 2.5 hour mark. But Old School, you're good to go too for another half an hour or so.
I'm good. Yep.
Okay. If people have questions, the backlog is currently completely emptied. Your question will be right to the front of the queue. I'm gonna browse and make sure I didn't miss any more. But yeah, I guess what's going on this weekend? What are you guys doing in the hobby? Anything you're particularly after? PokePlumber, any like big Sun and Moon era case you're chasing, or any individual box?
Well, actually tomorrow I'm picking up a Unified Minds case.
Ooh.
I have a good amount of those already. That was like one of my first things I started buying. So I'm grabbing another Unified Minds case. I got it for a pretty good deal. Grabbing a Fates Collide, and then I got a Legendary Treasures, and then the Primal Kyogre from Ancient Origins. My buddy pulled it, and it's mint, so I'm going to send that to PSA. Oh, maybe
Nice.
maybe even CGC, because I'm already sending a couple things to CGC to try to pristine. So maybe I'll give that a try. But you never see those XY cards look that good, and this thing is like perfect. So
that is surprising. The
like, I graded
rough.
the Ray in a 10 from Ancient Origins. It hit an 8, and I cracked it. I was like, what are they doing? Because remember on the front how like the centering, it's like a little different than normal. So I think the person that graded it didn't know. So I cracked it and resent it, and it hit the 10.
Sweet.
Like, no better feeling than hitting a 10 with an XY card, you know?
Yeah, that's the exception. More like early, even harder than early Scarlet Violet era. Like those were tough.
That's why I think they're gonna do well, like long term, because it's like that Charizard's not that easy to grade a 10. The Greninja is not that easy to grade a 10. There's a lot of cards that aren't easy to grade a 10.
Yeah.
Burning Shadows Charizard, near impossible to grade a 10 nowadays.
Any chance you need I only have one of all the Sun and Moon era. I only have one sealed case, and it's Ultra Prism. Any chance you need one of those?
I got a couple of those bad boys.
Couldn't hurt to have another, could it?
I paid really good
on your junk off of him,
So,
Dan.
Listen, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. That was like one of the sets that was like out when I was really going in. I hated the trainers. There was no waifu hype back then. I found a Lily full art in my bulk pile from back then. So I didn't know anything, right? That's how much I hated the trainers in that set, right? And like Celestial was cool because it had the Rainbow Rayquaza. You know, that was exciting. Lost Thunder had the Lugia. Like, I wanted the Pokemon. I didn't want the trainers, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I thought what trainers did I like back then? You had Red. Red was awesome. That's a good trainer. Like, that's the trainer that I wanted, not a Lily, you know? And then look at that card now. Insane. Just sitting in my bulk pile. I went through it like a year ago. I was going through all like my old Sun and Moon bulk, and I'm like, no way this is here. Had no idea. I found a whole bunch of like the baby shinies from Hidden Fates. Like, just didn't even care back then. I didn't know better, right?
Yep.
Like my first big chase was the Ancient Origins full art Lugia. Like, I wanted that card so bad, and but you would get lucky with XY. Like, you could buy a case and pull like 3 of the same like full arts, or the Secret Rare Alakazam from Fates Collide. They would never grade a 10. They were always hitting like 8s and 9s. But to me, XY era was great, and I'm really happy it's getting the recognition it deserves.
Yeah, that's when I came back in. So I know the X and Y era sets and their chases better than like the Scarlet and Violet era.
Yeah.
I was a collector then. I'm an evil evil business capitalist now. I don't interact. I was
horror.
making master set binder. Well, not master set, because I never did reverse hollows, but I was making complete set binders of all the XY era sets. Every time like I said earlier, I opened a box of every set. I put them all in binders. I opened just the heavy packs. I sold the lights to like lessen the burden on my wallet of opening everything. I sold them to people like Nick that were trying to chase light art sets that were like known good from a box that someone opened. So I used that to like subsidize my journey on opening every box. But these days I rip one ETB with my family. My kids are super excited to do it on release day, but I don't rip the product like I used to.
What about the static? You're already excited for it. You think you're only going to be rip one ETB and say that's it?
Probably. I'll probably let my kids do a little bit more if they want to, but
boring over there.
It's I just don't have that same spark anymore. But I've seen too much. I'm too deep into it. I don't know what it is.
What about 151? You didn't rip a lot of 151?
I ripped more 151 for sure, but not like anything like I used to do with the XY era. I used to rip a case personally. I used to do it for my binder, and I used to buy the other ones that I needed. But I was the same way too, though. I wanted to pull everything if I had the option to. And back then you could more. You could open a case and you could have pretty near everything. Yeah. Maybe a couple trades to cap it out. But now you need to open like 50 cases, and then you still don't have.
Yeah, I'm with you on there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is interesting. I wonder what it would be like if the hit rates weren't so impossibly hard. Like for Surging Sparks, I opened it was 2,100 or maybe 2,016 packs because it was 55 or 56 boxes, and we only built one complete set out of all that.
That's insane. It's so insane. That's why I did like Obsidian Flames, because Obsidian Flames was like one case and you could come really close to like completing it, if not completing it without all the reverses.
Yep.
And then Pokemon was like, nope, we're not doing that anymore. Good luck. You know?
Yeah.
Like, good luck.
Dan's kids have to buy packs from Fanatic Stream.
Yeah.
Your kids, get out your piggy banks. No, I mean, this stuff really is, though. Like, obviously, I have a lot of it. I have it passing through, but there's the saying is very good. Don't get high on your own supply. I do my best to not get high on my own supply. It's expensive. Like, you let the kids just go at it, tearing through. It's like, there's another $50. There's another $100. There's like, it adds up quick. This stuff is not cheap.
It makes it harder when the set booms too, because like I had a case of Surging Sparks sitting in front of me last night, and I was like, do I open one more and chase it? And I'm like, dude, this is gonna be $1,200. You know, like I it's like, how can I open another case? Right?
That's like a weekend
I'm
away.
Not able to buy another one for less than 6 right now. That's not happening. So it's like,
like a case of
for me.
A case of Surging Sparks. I could like take the family to a local theme park for the weekend, and we could go eat every meal. We could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner out somewhere, and we could be at a theme park for a weekend for like $1,200. Yeah, like, the amount of money that is. I enjoy ripping Pokemon, but I don't enjoy it that much. I would rather it's like, and if to be honest, like if I my son, he loves seafood, he loves crab legs especially. If I showed him a Surging Sparks booster box and I'm like, hey, do you want to open this right now and spend 10 minutes tearing through it and add a couple cards to your binder? Or do you want to go get crab legs tonight for dinner at Red Lobster?
He wants crab legs all day.
Maybe I'll pose that as I lean towards, I think he would pick the crab legs, but maybe I'll be surprised. We actually have a pretty open weekend this weekend. We have one thing going on tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll pose that to him and then post the results on Instagram. Whether he goes for the
you'll have to keep us updated on that one. I don't know. That's a tough one there. A big
as I was saying it, I'm like, I'm pretty convinced that he would go for the crab legs, but I'm not entirely sure though. I'll have to do.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's gonna do. Like, you have to break through that mental barrier as well. Like right now, I literally have a case of ETBs that's meant to be broken this weekend. Right? Like I'm like I already like that case is done. I already know it's sitting there sealed, ready to be ripped this weekend with the kids, and I'm excited for it. and I'm praying that I pull the Pikachu kit so I can just be done, right? Like, that's it. This is the last thing I'm opening right now. I'm telling you right now, like, this is it. No more booster box cases. This ETB case is done.
That's what you say now. But what happens if you don't pull the Pikachu?
It's my last one, I swear.
I swear, yeah.
No, hopefully you get it, so it could be the last one.
I just want to hit it.
Yeah,
so
Dan, you're gonna get all hyped up now for Red Lobster, and your son's gonna choose the Surging Sparks box.
The thing is, I actually have crab legs in the freezer, so we could just do them whenever too. But I can't tell my son that we could just do Surging Sparks and the crab legs. It's got to be one or the other. I got to make him choose.
I don't blame him. That's my favorite food. Crab legs are my favorite. Like,
they're up there for me. They're up there for me. Yeah. Definitely my favorite seafood, but like steak, chicken wings. There's a lot of good stuff up there.
Like steak with crab legs, like a nice surf and turf.
So good.
Hard to beat. So we had Ray come in. The question that Chef asked, the same question, but for Ray. So what would you tell Ray about his live streaming endeavor? What would be your advice to him? I mean, he's got like 12,000 followers in a few months. So I would just say keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully the numbers are better than they were at 1,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 followers. Hopefully the scale is actually improving things. But yeah, keep on keeping on, I would say.
Don't be so shitty. No. It's not to dis. I don't know. Like, Ray's doing really good on Whatnot, but it is interesting to look at like the number of followers that you're getting is wild. But then when you look at the pricing of singles, it's weird because you have so many followers, and yet your singles pricing and your auctions, they do decent. There's some that do really good, but for the most part, it's just me. I don't understand why. It does not make any sense to me. I have no idea what's going on over there for you, because you're super consistent about having everyone stream. You have like a consistent schedule of days. You always do giveaways, so your following is always increasing. I don't get why your pricing for singles isn't like increasing at all, or much anyway. So I am completely lost there. I have no idea.
Alex says it's because Whatnot sucks. The Whatnot crowd specifically. So he's not even saying the platform. He's saying the consumers. But there is something to be said about like growing solely off giveaways. There's some risk that you're not creating a following of consumers. You might be creating a following of beggars, right?
Yeah, giveaways.
Yeah.
Like it would be interesting to run one night, and maybe you can't. Maybe you can't at this point. Run one night without a giveaway every 5 minutes. Then what happens?
Yeah.
That might be like I'm trying to build a different way on Fanatics. There are giveaways. There's all the different bounties. I'm trying to just like, this is what we're auctioning. This is what we're ripping. You buy 1-to-1. Fanatics as a platform has done the bounty a couple. Well, they did for the first time. They did the bounty on the Surging Sparks Pikachu. So I'm not adding any additional layers of gambling, even though like, again, the foundation of the hobby is gambling. It just is what it is, right? The core product is a booster pack, which you could get nothing out of, or you could get a lot out of. So yeah, it's, it'll be interesting. I think there's more profitable ways in the short term to kind of sell out and do the more gambly mystery bag, bounty, whatever. But I'm trying the path of no giveaways, selling 1-to-1, and seeing where it goes. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out, though.
Like I yelled at my buddy Sam, Master Set Games, because he's giving away a Legendary Treasures box. And I was like, dude, don't do that. And he's like, it's part of the game, like, man.
I saw that. That's wild. Yeah. That.
We had him on last month. He was our last guest.
Oh, was he? I love Sam.
Yep. Yeah, he's crushing it. He's doing it at a crazy high level. Animal. And like, I think this was in California. I was hanging out like behind his table, and like the amount that he buys, I've never seen anyone do that before.
Like it is. And I was like, how are you keeping up with all this slabs? And I sat there and I was like, oh, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing it at a high level, a very high level. It's crazy. Eric Drinks Water wants to know, have we seen Opossum Bud's video about the CGC jumbo slabs? What do you think about them? I've not.
They're similar. It's like currency slabs. How it's like that, or the stamps that Charlie graded.
That's what I'm grabbing right now. So this is ASG. It's like a flexible.
Yeah.
But PMG also does it. Paper Money Guarantee is the grading company. I think this lends itself well for currency. I think it lends itself well for things like stamp sheets. I don't know if I necessarily think it's better or worse. I guess if you're collecting a ton of them, they'll take up a lot less space. But you could like also damage them. Like I could fold this right in half and like damage the stamp, but just like don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. I'm not really like much of a slab collector anyways. I'm not much of a jumbo collector. I guess somewhere I used to keep one of every jumbo. I probably still have them somewhere, a stack of one of every jumbo that came out of every different collection box. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have like a drastic opinion on them.
Yeah, I mean, I saved mine. They're like, like the comic books, the bags and boards.
Mm-hmm.
I have a stack of just all the jumbos, and I never graded them. I just have a whole bunch of them. You never know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Years ago, I did grade with PSA. Old school would remember XY121, the Charizard in the red or blue collection.
Mm-hmm.
There was Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, Pikachu in those 4 different generations collection boxes. I graded a handful of each of those. We actually got the figures here, and it was a European exclusive because they have some like law where toys can't be in those kind of products. So a lot of times when we were getting figures, they were getting jumbos. So I bought like 20 or 30 of each jumbo from Europe, and I graded the cleanest ones. A lot of them got like 6s because jumbos are just massive, and there's a lot more likely something's going to happen to them. But I hit 9s and 10s on some of them, and they sold for a pretty solid premium, but like a very niche product, very like minimal sell-through rate liquidity relative to like what a card would be.
I can't imagine jumbos ever taking off. Being like popular to collect and all that stuff.
Like if any jumbos were to take off, like the ones that I thought were really nice was like the Evolutions premium collection, like the Vaporeon one, the Flareon one. Like they're like little art pieces. Those are pretty nice. I like those. I never see them doing anything. Even the Pikachu was like the very first jumbo. That's not even that expensive. Yeah, he agrees.
He's got something to say.
Yeah.
Eric Drinks Water says the Rayquaza from Sea and Sky has sold copies in a PSA 10 for over 200. The issue with that is I think the grading cost of jumbos is like $60. It's like quite high,
right?
And the 10 rates are very low. I think it's not a deep market too. Like say you were the best pre-grader out there. Say you broke down 1,000 of those Sea and Skies, and say you ended up grading 100 of those Rayquazas in PSA 10. The price on those would tank, in my opinion. I don't think the market depth is there. I think they're very niche. They're very one-off. There's not many out there. So the few that happen sell for a bunch. But I did it with coins years ago. I used to grade the coins from the theme deck collections. Vivid Voltage. There was a Charizard one in the Boom. I graded and sold Charizard coins for like $100.
Really?
The thing is, you could grade the
again for those.
Yep, you could grade the coins though for the same cost as a card. So I was grading the coins for like $7 at the time, which was nice. And coins were easier to pre-grade than jumbos. Jumbos are big. There's a lot of real estate, a lot of surface area there for something to be an issue. But the thing is, I graded 10 of them and I sold them for $100 a piece. So then I'm like, ooh, I got something here. I graded 50 of them and I struggled. Like I sold them to every consumer out there at $100 a piece. And a lot of those coins now are like $30, $40 because they just got oversupplied for the small amount of demand out there. And I think the same thing could happen with jumbos. If they stay niche, that's fine. but the depth of the market is just not going to be there like it is for cards, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. Have you seen the coin grading for CGC now?
Yeah, they did a bigger slab. I don't know why they didn't use the NGC.
Weird.
Why didn't they use the NGC slab? I don't know.
Yeah,
so much extra space. Like, I guess maybe they did it big because there's two sizes of coins. There's the smaller coins, and now lately, like, they have the bigger coins. I guess they did a case that could fit both.
And Garen then I think it's the same size as like regular card cases too. So you have that consistency.
They probably did them so they could be stackable, so they could be stored in all the same boxes and whatever. But like Garen says, the grading cost of jumbos might only be $30. But like in my opinion, that's just a riskier play than it looks like. Because especially if you try grading 50, you're probably gonna find you have two buyers at 200, and then your next buyer's at 100, and then your next buyer's at 60, and then your last 40 buyers are at like $20 a piece, less than grading cost. That's my speculation. But yeah, it's hard to say. That might not be accurate. Maybe the market, maybe we just need the right person. Maybe we need grade 1 and a 10, send it to PokeRev, have him talk about it. Maybe we can grow yeah. Maybe there's room to grow on those, but I don't really know. Tyrone wants to know, I'm assuming this is PokePlumber Nick. What's your favorite booster box art on the wall behind you?
Either Phantom Forces or Dragons Exalted.
And I will say, like, Japanese does it a lot better. I wish English would do better.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
I mean, look at this. Look at this box. Like,
yeah, I wish English would. Like, how hard would it be to just commission one more artwork? I guess maybe 6 because you need one for each side, right? Commission a few more artworks, slap it on the box.
Like Japanese, just.
Yeah, they definitely get more value in like the sealed eye appeal version, but not to diminish what you have behind you, obviously.
Imagine
but
if they had like something like that in English.
Yeah, remix bout. That's
like
that's one that immediately came to mind.
Yeah, like they're so beautiful.
Yep. But they haven't done it.
This thing is expensive now. Like, this is insane how much this is going for.
Is that Phantom Gate?
Yeah. No, yeah.
I think Phantom Gate. Yeah. I don't know many Japanese sets, but that one comes to mind.
So expensive. I wish I bought all the XY boxes, Japanese boxes back then, because they were dirt
CP6.
Oh yeah.
My God, I know. You see how much that is right now? Or Best of XY is like a $2,400 box, $2,600 box.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yep. PokeSun wants to know, what if PSA or CGC starts grading sealed booster boxes? Absolutely. I wouldn't even consider it. I would immediately have half a pallet of sealed cases sent to whichever one's doing it, and I would have them taking them out of the case right from the distributor. I would call up my distributor and say, hey, my whole allocation of the next set, can you just send it straight to PSA? Absolutely. The market would pay a crazy premium, I presume. Maybe the market wouldn't be like, there would be risk if you got into that too late. There would be risk that maybe the premium wouldn't be enough. The market wouldn't be deep enough for people that want it. But I would lean towards the market would accept that. The market would want that. And it would probably be a pretty decent margin for some time.
I'd be cracking all my older cases. My Phantom Forces case, cracked it, sent it.
Yeah.
Like, this wall would be gone for 3 months because it'd be, degraded.
I think there would be a massive demand for that.
Oh,
PSA 10 boxes.
A team up
PSA
10 team up box, or a PSA 10 Holland Phantoms box.
Yeah.
Think about that. Fire Red Leaf Green. Oh man.
And then think of the inevitable.
You guys were talking about on your podcast last week. It already is a thing. There is a premium for boxes that don't have holes in the shrink wrap or loose wrapping or all that stuff. So it already is a thing. It's just not officially a thing.
Well, that's what I would do. Like when I really started getting more into it, like I would sell the boxes that weren't in the best shape and then replace it with a nice mint case fresh box.
Yeah.
And like I would pay a little extra if they had like a clean box and their price was like, I don't know, like let's say $100 more than what I wanted to be. Absolutely, I'm going to pay for it. It's a clean box.
And PokeSun said she heard some rumors about box authentication and slabbing sealed boxes through PSA CGC. So years ago, even months ago, I don't think they ever would have wanted to take the risk. We all know about the BBCE sealed first edition base case that turned out to be G.I. Joe. But now that CT scanning is a thing, it's kind of died down for a while now.
Though.
CT, that might be a silver lining to CT scanning. Hey, and Garen right here is like, what would be the price of that? It might be more than $100 a box. It might be, hey, we're going to run your box through a CT scanner to verify that what is supposed to be in it is going to be in it. And then we're going to encapsulate it in acrylic and we're going to put a grade on it. That might be a silver lining to CT scanning. It might be like, hey, now we can actually, and I sell through Fanatics. I can sign through Fanatics. 2 months ago, I was taking in sealed products and I would sell your sealed XY cases. I would sell your sealed Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, even any sealed era cases. Fanatics stopped doing that. I have no insider information along those lines, but I've heard rumblings that they're like looking into CT scanning technology to see if in the future they can start accepting sealed again and actually verifying its legitimacy, putting their name behind it without the extreme risk to them. So yeah, it might be a thing. Maybe CGC, PSA, maybe they're in talks with that one, whatever that company was called. Maybe Fanatics, like Fanatics has CGC on site now for like saying 1 day, 2 day, 3 day turnaround grading. So that kind of thing is definitely a possibility in the short to medium term for sure. So if it becomes a thing, I will look into it. I will look at the margins. I love
that idea that you had. They scan it and then they encapsulate it, grade it. That would be awesome.
And maybe they have a certain number. So certain number 50,007 is a base set box. And maybe instead of like the grader's notes, maybe it ties it instead of going and looking at a scan on CGC's website of this card. Maybe you go and you look at the CT scan of the box and maybe it spoils what hits are in it. But like, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe, okay, I have a sealed EX Holon Phantoms box. It doesn't have a Gold Star Pikachu. It doesn't have a Gold Star Mewtwo, but it's legitimate. It has 12 holos randomly distributed throughout the thing. And like, maybe that becomes a thing it wouldn't be inherently good or bad. Some people would love it. Some people would hate it, but it would just be the new reality that we have to navigate. And it would be interesting. If nothing else, it would be interesting to see if the market would accept that, how they would value that. Overall, though, I think people would value it. I think people would probably pay a slightly silly premium. I think there's some like third-party grader. Is it like some Australian company? There's some company that has graded booster boxes or encapsulated.
I've seen Japanese 151 graded before.
Yeah.
I forget who it is, but somebody's already done it to a very small extent. And I want to say maybe they were shilled, maybe they weren't real transactions, but I saw some that sold at a premium. If PSA did it, they would go at a big premium, I think. It would be an expensive service too.
100%.
Oh yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if that happens. I hope Fanatics is doing something so that I can consign sealed product again. I think sealed product is a huge portion of the market. There's a lot of it out there, and having a clean, easy way. Maybe I'll be offering to buy people's sealed cases at 80, 85%. Consign them for 95%. Consign them for 90%. Like that would be great.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah. As of right now, like I can't accept sealed. I will buy sealed. I feel comfortable enough for me to authenticate my own product because like I know the people that I'm getting it through. Most stuff I'm getting directly through distributors, but I don't feel comfortable buying a $15,000 base box and not opening it. Like every time I've bought one, I've bought it to rip. I've bought it to sell the packs. But yeah, we'll see if that ever comes. I hope it does. Lucky Bunny says, and we're probably going to take a couple more questions. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark. We'll probably wrap up relatively soon. Appreciate everyone hanging out. But Lucky Bunny says, with the talk of Beckett dropping the ball in grading and GameStop recently getting involved in grading, since they're big enough, if they started grading, would it be taken serious? So GameStop's not grading themselves. GameStop's middlemanning for PSA grading. So they're teaming up with like the foremost, the premier leading graded card company in the space. So I think that's like a teaming up of titans in the industry, which if I was an LGS that had a couple GameStops within driving distance to me, I would fear a little bit that GameStop is trying to pivot into being like a national chain, LGS, but like national, like an NGS, I guess, a national game store. I would worry a little bit about that.
They have potential, man. GameStop can do a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, I would worry about that a little bit, but I don't think I wouldn't anticipate GameStop is going to create GSA, GameStop authenticating. Like I think they're just going to continue the relationship with PSA.
I can't see it at all.
And that's where, he was saying them becoming a competitor to PSA. I think they're just teaming up with a known brand. I think that's the smart way to go. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't anticipate a GSA coming out, GameStop authenticators. That's my opinion. But yeah, that's we're fully caught up again. I think that's a good time to call it. We're coming up on 3 hours here. Thank you so much, Nick PokePlumber. It was very nice hanging out with you for these few hours. We know you're a busy man. All the plumbing consultation we had going on in chat, all the phone calls, all the messages that you were missing. I'm sure there's a lot of fires to put out in the plumbing space. So you might have a busy night catching up after the afternoon off, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was an honor to be here. Happy to hang out with you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys at con or whatever's next. Card party, we have a big year coming up, so I'm sure I'll see you guys.
I'm sure we'll cross paths, for sure.
A whole bunch of events for sure.
And this is awesome. And now I get to watch you guys every other Friday.
There we go. There we go.
Again, I'm working
shout
now.
Out.
So it's like something to watch, so it's perfect.
I'm sure most people in here are familiar with Alex's channel, significantly larger than this one. So probably just about everyone subscribed over there, or a lot of people. In our off time. So PokeFlipz is every 2 weeks. In the weeks that we're not on, what's it called? Collector and Investor or something?
Yep.
So the Collector and Investor podcast is every Friday that PokeFlipz is not on. That podcast is on with Nick and Alex over at NostalgiaNomics. So definitely go follow them over there. And now you're taken care of every Friday between one of the two podcasts.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll give you guys a nice little shout out next week too.
And I did talk to Alex. I don't know at whose channel it'll be on, but some point down the line we'll have to do a collaboration where we're a full meeting of the podcast. But to be fair to you, to give you your time, we've had Alex on solo before. We wanted to have you on solo. And then down the line, maybe we'll have you both on.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I thought it was going to be like retrospects. I was like, how is everybody going to talk? Because sometimes when there's like 5 people going,
it gets way too much.
Talk, and I'm like, oh man, it gets too much,
I think 2's ideal, and then 2 having a guest is like reasonable. Once you 4 is tough. I've been on a lot of them with 4. I've been on a handful with more. I enjoy it, but it's like, it gets really tough. But yeah. Anyways. Appreciate chat, everyone hanging out here. It was a fun way to end the work week. Anything else to say in closing, or are you guys ready to wrap?
No, thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. And this was awesome. It's an honor, and thank you guys.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. We will catch you all later.